Can you hear me now? Yes, looks like the audio waves are coming now. That's good. Don't know what that was about. Seriously. I expected that to be all set. That was weird, that was. Well, thanks for correcting me there, guys. Always good to know when technical difficulties are happening, because I don't want to be going on for a long time, only to find that you couldn't hear everything I was saying. Oh, thanks, guys. You're all noticing the haircut. Yeah, I got a haircut and a beard cut. I said I was going to, and I have. But yes, great to see all of you here. Khan, Movie Fan, Trevor, Batman's Gamer, Fireboy, Good Times. We got George Washington in the chat. Selena, Classic Brickman. Let's see, we got Bully Maguire in there as well. Yeah, so what I was just saying when the mic was muted was that I'm sorry I'm a bit late. I was just having some last-minute things to do, and that's why it took longer. And also, I got a new monitor right now. I got it temporarily to see if I'm happy with it, because Amazon always have a thing at the end of the year where they say you can return an item by the end of January for the next year. So I got a monitor. I thought, let's give this a try. It's an OLED monitor. The monitor I've had before, I've had it for like 10.5 years. So I thought, alright, let's take a look at an OLED monitor that has a higher resolution. Not quite 4K, but it's 1440p. And it gives me a lot more options for when I'm live streaming and stuff. So, and when I'm editing as well. And now I've got my old monitor on this second screen here. So if there's anything that I want to look up, I can look at it through my second screen right here. So that will be very helpful. Well, that's good. King of the Monster says that he got a haircut and now I've got one. Let's see. Ethan's Drawing has got a haircut as well. Cool. We've all kind of got our haircuts synchronized. Before we move further, I just want to quickly answer Batman's Gamer, who's done a $10 super chat. Thank you very much, buddy. I really appreciate that. He says, how do you feel about Captain America 4 and the Thunderbolts trailer released on the same day and hour? What's with the special look for Thunderbolts? I feel they're trying really hard here. Yeah, they did show the whole opening sequence, didn't they? Sorry, in the opening sequence of the trailer, they did show the whole scene, didn't they? They showed like an entire scene of that little car chase. So it does seem to say something that they're a little bit concerned or something. So it is bizarre, isn't it? Let me think. Well, if you want to know my trailer thoughts on Thunderbolts, so you got to check my Patreon. I've got a full trailer reaction there where I talk about it. But I'll let you know. Very briefly, I was not impressed, to put it simply. And I think the community post I put out there where I showed pictures, like, pictures of the trailer reaction, I think you all could grasp that from those images. But yeah, I was not impressed by what they did, to put it bluntly. But, that's kind of just Marvel, isn't it? That's kind of, they're not doing good, are they? To put it bluntly. And Captain America 4, that trailer, we'll talk a bit more about it later. My trailer reaction, I've done it, but it's not up on Patreon or YouTube yet. I have to edit it a little bit. So you'll see that soon. But yeah, even that, I'm still working on the trailer reaction for that, so you can check it out later when I put it up. But yeah, I was not impressed with that trailer either. Captain America 4, that trailer had a lot more problems and some deceit as well. So I also had problems with that trailer. So Batman's Gamer, my response to that would be I was not impressed with either, to put it bluntly. And they released it on the same hour, the two trailers, because there's a Comic-Con going on in Brazil, isn't there? Was it Brazil Comic-Con, was it? But basically, that's where they're releasing some trailers. And they've not released anything of Fantastic Four or anything like that. They've just released 2 trailers for Captain America 4 and the Thunderbolts movie. And I think they're both not going to perform well, if you ask me. Khan says, hey, Eric, did you get the donation that I gave you? What donate? Oh, the £1 tip from 3 days ago. Yes, I did get that. So thank you very much for that, buddy. I really do appreciate that. when we're not even on live streams and you guys do donations, I really do appreciate that, so thank you. Yes, I did, Khan, basically. I did get that donation, so thank you very much. And you did it through Streamlabs as well, which you guys know how much I appreciate that, so thank you very much. Big Bash says, Tony Todd died. Yes, he did. That was, sad to hear. It's kind of similar to Kevin Conroy in the fact that he passed away, but he's already worked on another upcoming project. For him, it will be the next the Venom movie, the standalone Venom movie. So we'll have more of his work coming. I don't know if he did anything else beyond that. We'll have to see. But he has done his work on Venom for the standalone Venom game, so we will hear his voice in that. But yeah, that is sad. That is a shame. He's such a great actor. He is I don't think anyone had a voice as terrifying as his. If you saw the Flash show, he was also Zoom in there. And he did a absolutely wonderful job, he did. So yeah, it is sad to hear that he's passed. Rest in peace indeed to Tony Todd. Hui Toonmore says, forgive me for being political, Eric, but a lot of people I've watched who complain about wokeness in entertainment have all turned out to be Trump supporters. That is interesting, isn't it? That a lot of people who normally want diversity and everything, which is exactly what that Kamala Harris said that she would give to them, ultimately they went for Trump. Thing is, I thought that Kamala Harris, I thought it was pick your poison. I didn't like her, and I didn't like Trump. But I think a lot of people with Trump, he's not smart. So he's so not smart that he basically lays it all out on the table what he's gonna do. Whereas that Kamala, she was doing a lot of bullshitting. Like, people would ask her straight up questions, what is your thoughts on this? Or what are you going to do about this? And she'll go, well, let me tell you about Trump. Like, that was like a meme. It was like something that she was doing a lot. And people were saying it's just ridiculous. It's like she's not even answering questions. And then you had Obama, who's a war criminal himself, who says that why would you if you care about Muslims, why would you vote for Trump? Why would you not vote for Kamala? It's like she doesn't care either. She's two-faced in that regard. She says that she'll stop the war in Gaza, but then she's out there saying that no, she's going to keep giving arms to the people that are doing the war. So it's like she was full of it, basically, and I think a lot of people saw that in her and they didn't like her for that reason. But yeah, Trump, he's not a good person in that regard. Like I said, it's like pick your poison. I wouldn't have picked either of them. I'm in the UK, so we don't vote for American politics, but if I was in America, I wouldn't have voted for either of them. But yeah, that's basically my only thoughts. King of the Monster says, your thoughts on Muslims backing Trump? They're kind of brainwashed by society. I mean, in their own culture, they're not supposed to be voting for people outside of their religion, if I'm understanding correctly. It's like you're supposed to elect someone. There's a whole side of things there. I'm not sure if I'm 100% certain, but I do know they're not supposed to be voting for politics, but a lot of them have. It just goes to show how they've lost themselves in many ways. And Trump doesn't like Muslims either, everything he said about them and stuff, so it puzzles me why they would. But anyway, I don't want to talk about American politics right now. So, let's see. Why did you not like the Captain America poster? Don't worry, we will talk about that. There's a reason I don't like the Captain America poster. Now, Morbius. We've got a Morbius here who's done a $5 super chat. Thank you very much, buddy. That's very generous of you. He says, hey Eric, you better praise my movie. It's Morbin time. Red Hulk didn't get massacred. He looks great. Little Goblin Jr. destroyed humanity in Rise. Why? Okay, Jess, I know that's you. No more talking to me about Planet of the Apes, okay? I thought we've spoken about that. There's no more of that. We've done plenty of that, talk about Planet of the Apes, so please no more. Okay. Hui Toonmore says, thank you for being honest, Eric. I respect your opinion. Oh, thank you very much. That's what I always like about this community of people we have here. Morbius, no, your super chat has been read. Now. Matthew says, what happened to your hair? I got it cut. That's what's happened, and I got my beard cut as well. A lot of you guys surprisingly like when my hair is all big and my beard is all big. Like, that's become like almost like a preferred look that people have, which is interesting. Let's see. King of the Monster says, I should make a Transformers vs. Planet of the Apes thingy so I can satisfy Jess's desires. Yeah, Jess really does want... Really does like to do comparisons with Planet of the Apes and also Michael Bay's Transformers for some reason. But yeah, if he wants me to do that, then by all means, yeah, donate through Patreon to commission a versus video and I'll do it. Matthew says, I'm used to your hair looking bigger because of your Uncharted videos. Oh, you must have watched those Uncharted videos a lot. King of the Monster says, I'm saving for a separate versus video. Well, by all means, I've got your next one, which I'll be doing on March. Alright, so, as always, everyone, I'm just going to say right now, the Coraline quick movie review did not work out, so we're not going to do a review for Coraline, basically, so I'm going to reset the tip goal in the future for a separate review, for a different review. So yeah, let's move on to the stories we're going to talk about. Now, as always, when I talk about these stories, I've already said this before, if you want to ask me questions during these stories, you're going to have to do it through either Super Chats or Streamlabs chats, which I've put on the side of the screen, I've pinned in the comment section, and I've also got in the description. If you do Streamlabs chats, your donation will pop up on the screen, and you'll see it on the screen. And like I said, all your donations go 100% directly towards me, as opposed to it getting divided by YouTube. So no cut goes to YouTube if you do it through Streamlabs. But if you want to do Super Chats, that's entirely your call. But I'm just letting you guys know about that, because I'm not going to be looking at the chat very often when I'm telling you these stories. That way I can stay focused. Alright then, so the first story we're going to talk about is Captain America Brave New World. Oh boy. Now, Captain America Brave New World, I want to ask you guys, look at that poster. Do you notice any problems with that poster? I noticed two immediately. Supersonic says, nope. Fireboy's like, nope. Yeah, that font is something else. Oh, I wasn't paying attention to the font. I didn't know about that one. That's not what I'm talking about, though. Batman's Game says, from a comic, Red Hulk looks unfinished, says Big Bash. Deadwolf says, looks kind of goofy. Bully McGuire says, this is trash. The Dark Lord says, most likely not going to be a very brave film. The font looks weird. It's lame. Those veins are unrealistic. Time Shadow says, looks okay to me. Okay, I think you guys don't see it. It's just ugly. Supersonic says, I don't see any problem. Logman has joined the chat. Thank you, Logman. I'm asking everyone, before I tell you, does anyone notice a problem with this poster? When I saw it, there was one problem that stood out to me, and then there was a second problem that stood out to me after I noticed that first problem. The G-Gamer says, I see it looks fine. Maybe I'm missing something wrong with it. It looks photoshopped. Yeah, it kind of does, but that's not what I'm talking about. Matthew, you got it. Sam wouldn't be able to stop that punch. Look at him. Sam is not a super soldier like Captain America. He can't withstand a big, super strong punch. In fact, even Captain America, I think, would struggle against a punch from Hulk. But Sam, he's not a super soldier. He's just an ordinary man. And for him to withstand a punch from a Hulk just because he puts that shield up, that makes no sense. The Time Shadow says, I thought it was the shield that was stopping that punch. Yes, it is, but that shield will not get dented, but who's holding up that shield? It's Sam's wrist. He still has a human wrist. He has to have strength to withhold a punch with a big piece of metal like that. But Sam doesn't have that kind of strength. So how on earth is he able to withhold a super punch from a Hulk of all people with his human hand? a shield on his human hand. That shield would be punched right into him. That shield will punch it right into him. It wouldn't just be able to hold it off like that. It doesn't work. That wouldn't happen. Skyzer says he would have his arm broken. The G-Gamer goes, oh, I get it. This was to make it look like a cool shot. Yep. That's okay, Spirit Hero. You can still keep on. King of the Monsters 2021 says, well, who says he'll stay still? It doesn't matter. He's dead. I'm telling you guys straight out. He's dead. He doesn't survive something like that. He gets punched. He's dead. And also, Batman's Gamer says it best. Plot armor is stronger than his shield. Big Bash says his bones would be broken. Exactly. He would be dead. He'd be turned to mush. Saeed says Marvel about to do a plot hole. Deadwolf says in real life his arm would be hurt straight away. Skyzer says I don't remember him taking any sort of serum. Yeah, he hasn't. And I don't think he will in this movie either. I'll tell you why in a second. Plot armor for real. Yeah. Jess says he is not even strong enough to fight Red Hulk. Marvel is just making this think that Sam is strong. To make it seem like Sam is strong, yeah. The G-Gamer goes, I mean that shield is tough, although his arm holding the shield would be broken. Exactly, his human arm can't withhold it. So yeah, the shield will be protected, but he can't protect himself with the, behind that shield, because he's still holding it. And it will be absolutely destroyed. Matthew said, this is why I think Bucky should have been Captain America. Yes, that would have made more sense for this particular storyline. But for some reason, they went with that storyline and decided to put in Sam. Now, that's the first problem I noticed. There's a second problem as well. And that is, again, to do with the shield. Can you spot what the second problem is? It's not as big as the first problem, but it is still something else where I'm like, that makes no sense. It's, they're trying to look cool, but it makes no sense. Can any of you tell what the second problem is? You guys have all got it here. The sparks. Yeah, you guys... Man, I like how you all have got it. Yeah, the sparks. That makes no sense. Usually if you blast it with like a weapon, or you shoot it with a gun, or you hit it with a piece of metal, then there would be a bunch of sparks on the shield. But the fact that the Red Hulk has just got flesh and bone under there, flesh and bone punching metal is not going to make sparks come out of it. That makes no sense either. So basically, they're trying so hard to make this poster look cool, but there are two glaring inconsistencies there. There are just straight up logical errors. Even within the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, that stuff makes no sense. So, yeah. And by the way, this does lead to more problems. So I've already mentioned the first problem, Sam would not be able to withstand a punch from the Hulk. Even with that shield, his wrist would just snap. The second problem I said is the sparks. You got flesh and bone on this Red Hulk's fist, and somehow this Red Hulk is able to punch the shield, let sparks out of it. That makes no sense either. So clearly they're trying to make the poster look good at the expense of logic. But here's my question. If they're willing to make the poster look good at the expense of logic, what are they going to do in the actual movie? Because there's actually some leaked test screenings out there. There's information of people that saw this movie with test screenings, and one of the problems they actually described, is that Sam constantly gets punched by Red Hulk in the movie, and even though he gets punched by Red Hulk, there are no bruises, no problems, nothing on him. And he just keeps getting right back up and fights the Red Hulk. So these sparks here, I don't know if you guys read that, the leaked test screening of someone who went to go watch it, but seriously, if that is, I read that, I was like, no, come on Marvel, you can't do that. But now that I've seen it in this poster, they're definitely going to do that. Now, they're doing reshoots. I don't know if they're going to change it later, because, you know Marvel, they love to do their reshoots. So who knows, they could try to change that later, but the fact they allowed that in, where they say that a Hulk can punch Sam, who is a human, and he can keep on getting back up, that makes no sense. Zero sense. And For some reason, they think that's good enough to put on the poster. That is just ridiculous. And also, from what I've heard, the fight doesn't go on for long. It only goes on for like a couple minutes and then it's over. And the fight is in the climax of the movie. Not in the middle of the movie or anything, just the climax of the movie. So, yeah, a lot of issues with this. The first issue, because more people are entering the chat, I'll reiterate. The first issue is that Sam is a human. He's not a super soldier. So how on earth is he able to withstand a punch from a Hulk? That shield, having that shield makes no excuse. He'll just snap his wrist. He can't withhold all that pressure from the punch of a Hulk. Second problem is that when he punches the shield, the Red Hulk, there are sparks. That does not happen when Flesh and Bone punches a shield, but just to look cool, Marvel allowed those two things to happen, and they are two glaring problems in terms of logic. And I don't mean just in terms of logic, like, hey, this is a comic book movie, you should be able to let go of that. No, I mean even within their own established logic. A super soldier could probably withstand this, but not a human. Sam is a human. That fist, when it's punching the shield, somehow he's withstanding it. That makes no sense. And then we have, as well, like I said, the sparks. The sparks, that makes no sense for Flesh and Bone to have sparks happen on the shield. That's the Hulk's fist is Flesh and Bone. Should not let sparks go on the shield like that, but it has. And just to further prove that, just to further make my point, like I said, the leaked test screenings that came out said that Falcon gets punched a lot by Red Hulk, and he just gets back up with no bruises, no marks, no broken bones, no nothing. So that's three problems right here that we have with the Hulk being in a human Captain America movie. These are just glaring problems. How could Marvel get away with this? This makes no sense. They're trying to be more grounded, yet they're doing this, and it just leaves more plot holes. These are like complete absence of logic, and this is not made up logic. This is the logic that they themselves have established. So how they're making these issues, I have no idea. They really have lost it. They've gone off their rocker. How on earth can they look at this and say with a straight face, this is going to be a serious movie? It's just pathetic. They've lost it. They really have gone insane. Spirit Hero has done a $1 super chat. Thank you very much, Spirit Hero. You didn't even attach a question to it, so you just did the donation. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So yeah, what do you guys think? That is just ridiculous. The G Gamer says either that hand has some super durable military armor on his hand that's holding it, or the logic doesn't make sense. I think it's the logic that makes no sense, because he's got that whole costume. There doesn't seem to be any metal around him, like an Iron Man suit. King of the Monsters, hold up. Doesn't vibranium absorb all kinetic energy? Vibranium from Black Panther, that particular vibranium, absorbed like... It was like... It absorbs certain hits, and then it just blasts it out, but the shield doesn't. The shield is not that kind of adamantium. Or vibranium, I should say. In the comics, it's adamantium. Batman's Gamer says, when has the MCU used logic in the 2020s? Good point. They haven't, have they? GEG says, vibranium does what the plot needs it to do. Yeah, exactly. Because vibranium, essentially, is what you could say. But yeah, Marvel have really just lost it. They have gone insane. This is ridiculous. These are their own established rules that they've put in these movies. And you're telling me that they can't keep the whole thing of, like, just basic continuity. Sam is a human, therefore he cannot withstand the punch of a Hulk. Is that so hard to comprehend? These are their own established rules, but now they're just going against them. It really is ridiculous. Can they use adamantium now, says Big Bash? Well, now they can use adamantium if they want to, because they own, the X-Men now. But before, they couldn't say adamantium. The MCU is unrealistically stupid, says Saeed. It really is. Luigi says, in the latest trailer, when Red Hulk touches the ground burns up. Doesn't Red Hulk have some sort of heat powers? I don't know. I'm not aware if he has any kind of heat powers, but this does not make sense. It's just ridiculous. It shows that Marvel do not have any kind of structure in any sense. We already know that they're struggling and having big problems with structure in their overall MCU, but now they don't have simple structure in terms of what is a human and what is a super soldier. They're both two and the same now. So what's the point of a super soldier if a human can survive all this stuff that a super soldier can? It's just ridiculous. Supersonic says, I'm not going to judge this movie until I see it. That's fair enough, but I think it's fair for many of us to be very apprehensive because Marvel they've just been making a mockery of themselves and a fool of themselves. So if you want to go in saying that, yeah, I think this is going to be stupid, that's a fair assessment to make. It means you won't be disappointed because a lot of their movies have just been very disappointing lately. Even when Thanos punched Steve Rogers in Infinity War, he got knocked out. Yeah, he did. Thanos is stronger than Hulk, but still, yeah. He still got knocked out, yeah. King of the Monsters 2021 says, then again, Ben Affleck's Batman survived a ton of crap. I wouldn't say that's the same. Because two things. One, he did have a super suit on that could withstand bullets. He also had a super suit on that could, in the Zack Snyder Justice League, that had like Wonder Woman's arm bracelets. He was inspired by those to make something, so that could withstand it. It was all down to his armor. And yes, there was one or two things that he survived, but ultimately down to armor. This, though, it's just ridiculous. He's going to get punched about by a Red Hulk. You know, he can't withstand something like that. Spirit Hero says, I thought of comparing this to a kids' cartoon, but that would be an insult to kids' cartoons. Yes, it would be. Because Marvel have gone beyond a cartoon. They really have. It's ridiculous. Fireboy says, MCU is so unrealistic. King of the Monsters says, oh wait, Red Hulk does. Maybe his fist has an ignition function. Well, maybe he gets so angry that it's like a kettle boiling in a cartoon show. When cartoon characters get so angry, they get filled with red to the top of their heads. Maybe that's what happens. Khan said he's got Batman-level plot armor. Yeah. Well, I'd say beyond that. I mean, look at him. His super suit is not like Batman's, where Batman has armor on him. This guy's just wearing, essentially, like, clothes, essentially. And Hulk is like a whole other level of getting punched by this otherworldly being. So for him to be able to withstand that, it's just ridiculous. It's like, what's the point of watching a more grounded superhero in the MCU if they are just as superpowered as the others? You've lost what makes your character special, and also you've lost what you've established your character as. It just goes to show, without the Russo brothers introduced Falcon in The Winter Soldier, so without them guiding him, he's just directionless, he's just turned to pretty much crap. It shows you why they were doing so much reshoots, because there was so much problems. And based on the test screening that came out, the leaked test screening, they've still got more reshoots to do, because there are a lot of plot points that are just not addressed or given any kind of resolution. So yeah, it's just ridiculous. But yeah, it really is weird. Anyway, that's the story for Captain America. Let's see, G-Gamer says, almost every character has plot armor, but some do try to hide it in the movie. This is blatant plot armor protecting him. Exactly. It depends. A lot of characters in movies have plot armor, but it depends how you write it. That's what it all comes down to. And for Falcon to withstand the punch of a Hulk, that is like, they're not even trying right there. They're just saying, we're going to do whatever we want, and that's it. So yeah, I think this movie's going to bomb hard. Spirit Hero says, how do you think Red Hulk CGI looks? Inconsistent. There are parts where it looks so cheap, then there are other parts that look okay. But inconsistent is the word. But there's tons of horrible green screen in the movie. Like, in the trailer, there's horrible, horrible green screen. So, yeah. This gives me more faith in James Gunn's DCU more than MCU, says Dead Wolf. It does. James Gunn has got a much better system in place. James Gunn has said that they're not going to put anything into production until the scripts are locked. So that's very good. It shows that James Gunn's got his head screwed on right. Meanwhile, Marvel, these scripts are not ready or not good enough, and they start shooting. Then they realize, surprise, surprise, when the movie's done, it's crap. And then they're like, okay, do more reshoots. It's like, how about you just write it properly at the beginning before you greenlight it? And also, who thought it was a good idea to put Red Hulks in a Falcon movie? That's just so boring. Skyzer Wilhelm says, I'm just going to watch Superman next year. No reshoots, no rewrites, just a clear plan. Yeah, exactly. I've heard that the petal forest was shot in camera though, so maybe it was all down to lighting. I don't know. I feel like they could say whatever they want. I just don't know anymore. It's like they could say whatever they want, that yeah, it was shot practically, but why does it look like CGI? We can tell when something is CGI, so I don't buy that it's practical. Yeah, I just don't, because it looks like CGI, so they'll probably say it was, but I don't think we can trust them anymore when it comes to that. It's just very bad what they've done. Alright. Ooh, Skyzer Wilhelm said, I can't wait for that Superman trailer to release next month. I can't wait for it either. Want to see something more news from people that are not Marvel right now, because I just don't think they have it in them to do something good lately. They just don't. They're just rushing everything. Alright, next story. Next story is about Christopher Nolan. We've got more casting news of who he's going to cast in his next movie. So, yeah, the first person he's going to cast is someone that he has already worked with, which is Anne Hathaway. And give me a second, let me just shrink Christopher Nolan over here. Here we go. Alright, so he's cast Anne Hathaway, who of course he's worked with in The Dark Knight Rises and in Interstellar. And then he also cast, interestingly, Zendaya. And if you ask me, I think the reason he cast her is because he watched Dune from Denis Villeneuve. Those two are friends, so I'm sure he's seen Dune, and he must have thought that she was a good actress in that. So that's why he wanted to cast her. Oh, and look at that. We got a $2 super chat here from Jess, who says, how does the Toretto family survive in Fantastic Four, are you saying Fast Furious or Fantastic Four movies? The Toretto family survive. I don't know. The Toretto family, we still got one more movie to go, so we have to see. Yeah, Fast and Furious. Yeah, I thought so. How's the Toretto family survive in Fast and Furious movies? Well, we haven't got to the final movies yet, so we haven't got a resolution to that or anything. We got to see what happens in the next movie, how they survive. But yeah, so Zendaya is also going to be in the movie, and that is quite interesting that Christopher Nolan has done that, because now the cast that we have is... So the cast we have now is Tom Holland, Matt Damon, Anne Hathaway, and also Zendaya. And two of those people are already a real-life couple. So it's interesting that he's hired both of them to be in this film. It's like he's trying to ride the wave, basically. So it's like a casting decision he's done to put these two in, and he wants people to kind of like come into the movie thinking it's going to be the two of them. Can you imagine, by the time the movie comes out, can you imagine if something happens and Tom Holland and Zendaya break up? And then they both have to do press. They'll probably want to separate the two as much as they can if that's the case. So yeah, that's just... I know it's a dark thought, but I'm just saying, as Donkey said in Shrek, celebrity marriages, they never last, do they? And they seem to not. We've seen so many divorces between celebrities before. So just imagine if these two break up and then they do press in 2026, which is when the movie's coming out. That would be funny. That would be. Or was it 2020? Yeah, 2026. Yeah, that would be kind of funny if that happens. And Nolan can get good performances out of actors, so I think that they can do very good. I've not seen Zendaya in too many things. I've only seen her in the first Dune, and I've seen her in the Spider-Man movies that she's in. That's it. I can't think of anything else I've seen her in. So I don't know if she's a good actor because she wasn't in Dune too much. And in the Spider-Man movies, I didn't think she was all that good. But neither was Tom Holland in those films, I don't think. I think because Marvel don't really give them much material to really sink their teeth into. So we need to see them in another movie to know. And I think Tom Holland has proved himself in that other Netflix movie he was in. The Devil All the Time or something. And I think Zendaya, I don't know, I have to watch Dune 2 to see if she's good. I still haven't seen Dune 2. But yeah, if she's good in that, then yeah, this is a good choice. I feel like Nolan knows what he's doing when he's done that, when he's cast these two. So we'll see what turns out of that. So yeah, this is our cast so far that we have. And Nolan also hires big names for lesser characters that only get a scene or two. Gary Oldman only had like a scene in Oppenheimer and he hired him, so I'm sure he's going to hire like big name actors to have the supporting roles as well, so we'll see how that goes. Also, interesting thing with Nolan is because everyone wants to work with him, they'll be willing to work for less. So that means the budget won't go that high when he casts all these big actors. So yeah, that's quite an interesting cast that he's assembling. I wonder if he brings Robert Downey Jr. in now, just to complete the fold, because he's already got Tom Holland and Zendaya in there. Imagine if he brings Robert Downey Jr. in there just to, throw him into the mix. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? Anyway, what do you guys think? What do you think of this casting? GEG, I've not checked out Arcane yet. I am looking forward to seeing it though, but I've been very busy. The Joker versus video is almost done. Like, I'm right towards the end of doing it, so patrons will get it first, and YouTube members will also get it first, and then everyone else on YouTube will get it after the patrons and yeah, and YouTube members. Fireboy says, it's very interesting. I think I'm going to look forward to it. The Dark Lord says, it's okay. Big Bash says, I like it. Classic Brickman says, it looks okay. What is the name of the movie that this cast is going to be in? The movie hasn't got a name yet, but it's Christopher Nolan's next movie. I'm sure he's given it a name, but he's not put that name out there yet or announced it. Skyzer Wilhelm says Nolan's cooking in his kitchen. He sure is. King of the Monsters 2021 says, I've heard Nolan wanted to make a Prisoner remake or something. I heard that too, but I don't think that's what's happening. What seems to be happening is that he's going to make a horror movie, and to have this cast in a horror movie would be very interesting, I think. Big Bash says, what kind of movie will this be? The rumor right now is that it's a horror movie with vampires, and it's a period piece. That's the rumor right now. Some people, though, say it's not vampires, but it is a horror movie, so we'll have to see, I think. Oh, the Time Shadow. Thank you very much. Ooh, where's that typical alert box? Yeah, that, don't worry, sorry about that, bud. Next time you do a donation, it'll stay on screen so everyone can see it. But yeah, Time Shadow has done a £1... wow, and Kilk has done a $10 super chat. Man, guys, you are being very generous right now with super chats. Thank you very much for that. Let me quickly do Time Shadows. Time Shadow says Tom Holland keeps on making his way onto these, doesn't he? Also, maybe the Captain America poster is just for promotional purposes. Maybe the film itself has more logic applied. Also, did you see the names of the Stranger Things episodes? No, I did not hear the names of the Stranger Things episodes, but I've heard they've been released. Maybe the Captain America poster just for promotional purposes. Maybe the film itself has more logic. No, your poster has to have logic too. It can't be that ridiculous, but it is. And the movie, from what I've heard, at least in its current state, Sam Wilson is getting punched around by the Red Hulk, and he keeps getting up and survives. So that's not quite what I would say is going on. I'd say that this is just how pathetic they've gotten. There is no logic in the movie either in that regard. And Tom Holland keeps making his way onto these, doesn't he? He does. I've been talking about him a lot on my live streams lately. But, yeah. It'd be interesting if in the same year the next Spider-Man movie comes out, which is going to have Tom Holland and Zendaya. It'll be interesting to know that they're both also going to be in a Christopher Nolan movie in the same year. Potentially the same month, if the rumours are true of what the release dates are going to be for the next Spider-Man movie. And Killick White has donated $10 saying, "Are you going to see Creature Commandos?" When it comes out, I will, yes. I also have done a trailer reaction, but I forgot to post it on my community posts. So if you go to my Patreon or to my YouTube memberships, you can watch my trailer reaction where I talk about Creature Commandos. So, yeah. Oh wow, look at that. I've also got as a €1 donation from Good Times. Good Times celebrate the first super chat from Good Times. Oh wow, Good Times, that's your first super chat. Thank you very much, buddy. I really appreciate it. You guys, I keep saying, you don't know how much your donations always help the channel, help support it, and keep it going. So thank you very, very much. I really appreciate that. But yeah, Killick, if you want to see my trailer reaction for Creature Commandos, head on over to my Patreon or my YouTube memberships, and you'll be able to gain access to those trailer reactions of Creature Commandos, plus plenty more, including Captain America 4 and Thunderbolts, their recent trailers. Alright, so where was I? Yeah, so basically it's going to be it's going to be a pretty cool cast, like we always get with Christopher Nolan. Absolutely wonderful cast he usually gets for his movies, and I think this one's going to be no different. And we got a $5 super chat from Spirit Hero. Thank you very much, Spirit Hero. I really appreciate it, and congratulations on the job. I did skip while I was talking. I did have a glance at you saying that in the chat, so well done. Good job. No pun intended. Spirit Hero says, "Don't you think the Thunderbolts are trying to copy James Gunn's Suicide Squad with the anti-hero team? The titles and even the Milton character." Yeah, it does feel like that. Like they're completely copying the Suicide Squad. And that's what we all said ever since the movie was announced, that it is supposed to be Marvel's PG-13 Suicide Squad. It's kind of interesting that, isn't it? The first Suicide Squad movie was when Warner Brothers went in and re-edited it and took control away from the director. It turned into like a rip-off of Guardians of the Galaxy. And then they made... So it's copying Marvel, essentially. But then you had James Gunn coming in, and he made his own Suicide Squad movie. And now you have Marvel coming in and trying to copy DC's Suicide Squad movie. So it's funny how DC tries to copy Marvel, then Marvel tries to copy DC. It's funny how we've just gone like full circle with all of this. But yeah, totally it's a rip-off of the Suicide Squad, what they're doing. Khan says, "Tom Holland will play the Joker one day, so be prepared, Eric." They wouldn't make him play the Joker. If they want to make him play anyone, they would try to make him play Batman, because they're going to want to have him play the heroic role, not the villainous role. So, yeah. Jess says, "Why couldn't Thunderbolts be rated R?" Because Marvel have no guts. They got no balls when it comes to this stuff. So, yeah, that's why it's not rated R. King of the Monsters 2021 donated £1 again. Thank you very much, buddy. And this time you actually heard the sound effect go off, and it was on screen. So, yeah, that's good. I've all got that sorted. Let's see. King of the Monster says, "What's different about Sam getting punched by President Red Hulk and Dom Toretto surviving his things in his Fast movies? Notably ones, Dom uses a car as a cushion Yeah. He uses a car as a battering ram and has no damage. He ramps off a dam and has no marks. Well, that's because those Fast and Furious movies, they are cartoons. They know they're over the top, and that's the fun part, is seeing how over the top they can get. So you just accept it. I think it was the ninth movie that took it too far, and people just didn't like it. So, yeah, even they went too far to the point where people were like, okay, that's enough. But normally people were okay with it for those reasons, King of the Monsters. That's why people were okay with it. But, yeah, with the Marvel movies, the comic book movies, there has to be some level of grounding. Some, like, it's gotta make sense, basically. Which ones are the humans? Which ones are the superpowered beings? And for the human to basically survive a punch from a Hulk, that is as ridiculous as you can get. It really is. Let's see. But yeah, I do think this is a very good cast. I think this is a very good cast that Nolan has assembled so far, and I'm looking very forward to seeing who else he casts for the movie. And if he's going to do a horror movie, then great, because I've always said I want to see a horror movie from Christopher Nolan and see his ideas that he usually implements in science fiction. I would like to see him implement it in horror. That's something I've always wanted to see. And now it's great that it looks like we're actually going to see it. Big Bash says Nolan knows what he's doing. Let's hope so, because Tenet was just bad. I didn't like that movie. Felt like he was just getting too obnoxious and too up his own butt in that particular film. Saeed says, I can't wait for Creature Commandos. I can't wait for it either. Hopefully you guys can watch it with me. When we do more of these Let's Watch shows, you guys can watch it with me when I do. That'll be fun. I can't remember. When does... let's see. When does Creature Commandos come out? 5th of December. Ooh. Well, pretty close. Well, yeah, then you and me can watch it. Like I said, click that join button and join the $5 perk and become a YouTube member, because trust me, I'm going to be doing a lot of watch-alongs, live watch-alongs, just exclusively for YouTube members. I did the last one with Nightmare Before Christmas for all of you to see, but that was a one-off. The rest of them are all going to be for members only, so you're definitely going to want to try to, join in on that, because that will be a members-only activity that we do, and we'll be doing it whenever I watch these things. So you're not going to want to miss it. I've got another one coming up soon as well, so yeah. Axel, great to see you, buddy. Thanks for joining the stream. We're just talking about the cast that Christopher Nolan has got, and you can see them on your screen right now. It's a very impressive cast he's got, and in typical Nolan fashion, he's going to add more people to his cast as well. So we'll see more of his cast in the coming, I think, weeks, maybe days. Who knows? Movie Fan says, I'm going to be honest, I think DC and HBO are releasing a lot of big shows lately that is becoming a chore. I'd say they're not releasing a lot of them yet. They're saying they're going to, but they haven't released many shows yet. The only shows that they have released, I think, are so far is Peacemaker and The Penguin. Matt Reeves hasn't said what his next show is going to be, but they know they want to make more, but I'm guessing it's going to be after the Batman movie now, the second movie. So we'll have to wait and see what that show is going to be. So that there's no pressure on that side. James Gunn is going to be filming his Lantern show in the first half of next year, and it'll most likely come out in 2026 sometime. So this doesn't feel like a chore yet. The Marvel shows feel like a chore because there's just so many of them, but this doesn't feel like a chore. I wouldn't say this feels like a chore. So yeah. Jess says, I'm excited for The Penguin episode 8, and I hope Batman gets a cameo. Make this happen, Matt Reeves. The Penguin is peak, but I haven't yet seen the finale, so no spoilers, please. I haven't seen the finale either. I don't even think the finale's out yet. I don't know what the time difference is when it comes out in America versus here, but we get it on the next day, Monday, so yeah, that's gonna be the final episode, and I can't wait to see it. It's gonna be the last one. Then I'll do a review of that as well. There's a lot of reviews I gotta do, but yeah, I'll be doing that as well. Like, guys, I have been loving the Penguin Show so far. I think the last episode, there was, it wasn't great. I thought that was the weakest episode, the recent episode that came out last week, but a lot of it has been really top-notch. The G-Gamer says, Penguin haven't seen, but I've heard amazing stuff from people who aren't IGN. Yeah, I don't know what IGN were on about. We'll see what they mean with the final episode. But I did think there was something disappointing with the recent episode that just came out, and you'll know what I'm talking about soon. Alright then, that's enough talking about Nolan. Let's move on to Batman. Now, those of you are probably unaware, there was actually rumors recently, pretty strong rumors, that there was going to be a Joker show spin-off on HBO. This was going to be apparently in between the Batman Part 2 and 3. They were going to make this spin-off show for the Joker after the Batman Part 2. That's apparently what the rumor said, and then this was going to lead into the Batman Part 3, where Joker would be the main villain. But it turns out James Gunn came on the scene when people asked him questions, and he gave this answer. He said, turn on threads. Oh, give me a second. It's too small. Let me make this bigger. And yeah, James Gunn says, let's make this bigger for you guys as well. James Gunn said, turn on threads and everyone is asking me about this. No, there is absolutely no truth to this. A Joker series is not being discussed, nor has even come up at this time. Sorry, don't attack Multiverse Nation. They're just one of many places reporting this. P.S. Hi, New Threads people. Yeah, basically, this is what it was originally said. It was originally said that a Barry Keoghan series is in the works. The series will be set between the Batman 2 and the Batman 3. It's unclear whether the series is being developed for HBO or Max, and Keoghan is set to return briefly in the Batman 2. Turns out this is not true. Now, Keoghan returning briefly in the Batman Part 2 is kind of a rumor that we've heard for a while, that Joker will have a very small role in the film. And I'm not sure, we're going to have to wait and see, but it is interesting, the idea that even though this is wrong, this is not true, according to James Gunn, the final little piece here, like I said, the Keoghan is set to return briefly in the Batman 2, is something that has been reported for a while, so I wonder, is he going to have a bigger role in the movie? Is he going to have a very small role in the movie? I wonder what it is. I'll be very curious to see what they're going to do with Keoghan as Batman in the next movie, because we know that he's going to make some kind of appearance in the second film. So yeah, I'm curious. But yeah, James Gunn basically came out and said that this is not true. So the idea of making a Joker spin-off show turns out wasn't true. And I thought it was kind of interesting if they did, because I'd be like, first we have the Joker standalone movies, the spin-off Joker movies. Well, they weren't spin-offs, they were just their own standalone movies. And now we're going to get another Joker spin-off story type thing, self-contained Joker thing, but in the form of a show. That was interesting to me. I was like, that's kind of fascinating. But yeah, I didn't like this Joker look they did with Barry Keoghan, by the way. I thought he was okay the first time I saw it, but now, the more time you think about it, I was not too fond of this look, so I hope they change it. They can retcon this, because this is a deleted scene when you see him looking like this. So I think it would be cooler if they actually show what he looks like properly for the first time in the next Batman movie, and I hope they work on the design, make it a lot better. That's what I hope. And I hope his performance is better as well, because it was just very much felt like he was copying Heath Ledger. Deadwolf says, I'm guessing Joker is the Thanos of the Batman universe. I think that's not quite a like-for-like comparison, but I get what you mean. I want to see Killer Croc in this universe. I don't. It'll just be someone with a skin condition or something, so let's not. Big Bash says, I want to see the Condiment King. Someone did ask James Gunn about that, and James Gunn said something like, that's up to Matt Reeves if he does that. I don't know. Maybe the Condiment King would be too stupid or silly in a Matt Reeves movie. I don't know. We'll have to see. Heath Ledger Joker is the GOAT, says Jess. I agree. Khan says, I'm just tired of the Joker. I want to see some other Batman villains, not the same freaking one every time. I'll disagree with you on that. I used to think the same thing, but then I was like, yeah, but the other villains are just not as good. When Joker is on, they do amazing things with him, and that's because he is the best villain. There's a reason they focus on him a lot. It's because he's the best villain. I don't think any of the others, as good as they can get, are as good as the Joker. Especially with his dynamic with Batman. Axel, I did hear that Tony Todd passed away. We talked about him earlier on in the stream. It is sad because he's such a talented guy, and to not see his work anymore is sad. Although he is going to be in the next Venom game. I'm sure he said he's recorded all his voiceover for that, and he goes 95% of it was not shown in the game, in the Spider-Man 2 game. So that means that Tony Todd is coming back for the next Venom game on PS5. And we'll all get to hear more of his work in that. So yes, certainly, rest in peace, Tony Todd. But much like with Kevin Conroy, this is not the last we've seen of his work. Hopefully his work will be good, though. It won't be put into something shit, like Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. Big Bash says, I want to see the Court of Owls. Yeah, we might see Court of Owls in the next movie, because Matt Reeves kind of gave it away a bit when he said that. When he talked about deeper corruption. Like, deeper corruption is the Court of Owls. Spirit Hero says, who is your least favourite Batman character? My least favourite? I don't know. I've never really hated a character. A Batman character. I don't know. I've not really hated any of these characters. No, the Grey Ghost is not a character I hate. Arnold Schwarzenegger's Mr. Freeze is the worst. Yes, he is. That, I would say. But I think he's talking about in general, like in the Batman lore, who is my least favourite character. I don't think I have one. I'll say Damian Wayne. I don't hate him, but he's not a favourite Robin of mine. So I'll say Damian Wayne. I'm not really a fan. Big Bash says, I think Jason Todd would fit in this universe. I think so too. I think he would. Syed says, I'm going to go now, Eric. I'll try to come back for the Q&A. Alright, no problem, buddy. Take care. I'll see you soon. But yeah, so yeah, it turns out this show is not going to be done, but I don't think it's a bad idea to do a Joker show. But at the same time, do you want a Joker show without Batman? I don't think I do, so I don't think I would. So yeah, we'll see how they do. But I think they did a phenomenal job as it is with the characters that they brought in. I don't want to see them delve into him until he's in a movie, maybe. Dark Lord says, I want Scarface in the Batman too. I'd like to see more Scarface as well. Opposite Batman. I feel like they could do a lot of these shows of these villains, but they really do need Batman to show up just to make it more fun and interesting. You don't need Batman and the Penguin, but it would be nice for him to show up at a certain point, but he hasn't shown up so far. So what do you guys think? Do you think it would have been a good idea to make a Joker spin-off show in like a very similar vein to what they're doing with the Penguin, a very character-based story, or do you think we don't need one? And if they are gonna do one, a story where if they are going to do a story, a spin-off story, another spin-off story for Batman in the form of a HBO Max show, would you want another show like the Penguin? What other villain would you want to have a spin-off show like the Penguin has had? Because it seems like you guys don't really want a spin-off with this Joker on HBO or Max. But what other villain would you like to have its own origin story? Hi Jake, great to see you, buddy. Yeah, what would you like to see? Who would you like to see get a spin-off show kind of like the Penguin did? Because the Penguin's got its last episode tomorrow. So who would you like to see? I would like to see Harvey Dent get another backstory type show. And we see what happens, and But at the same time, you want Batman to be around when his big origin story happens, when his transformation to Two-Face happens. So what other villains would you guys like to see? A Court of Owl series, that sounds interesting. Jake says, maybe they could do a spin-off based on Clayface. Just a thought. A Clayface spin-off. That could be interesting. Like the fall of this actor. How he becomes a master of disguise through plastic surgery, maybe? Movie fan says, I would love to see Bane. Ooh, Deadwolf said something very good. He goes, a scarecrow horror movie. That could be cool. The G-Gamer says, Black Mask. Yeah, I thought Black Mask was a great villain too. Yeah, Jess says, I want a Mr. Freeze series, but don't cast Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah, that would actually be cool, a Mr. Freeze series. But yeah, Mr. Freeze, though, I don't know how they can do him more realistic. Because there's been all this talk, and the next Batman movie is taking place during the winter. In Christmas, maybe. So what happens then? You're going to get a lot of ice, it'll be very cold. That is the perfect time to put a Mr. Freeze villain in there. But how will they do it? That's what I'm wondering. They said they're not going to go full fantastical. And Mr. Freeze is kind of like a full fantastical villain, so how are they going to do him? I hope they do it well if they do it. Hunter says Deadshot. King of the Monsters says liquid nitrogen. They could. Maybe he could do something like what Terrifier did in the third Terrifier movie with liquid nitrogen. You know, something like that. So he would be freezing people, but it wouldn't be in the full-on way like he does in the comics and in the animated shows and such. I really want to see Hush, says Fireboy. Yeah, could you imagine if Robert Pattinson plays Hush? Because Hush, the whole thing is that he looks like Bruce Wayne under there because he does plastic surgery on his face to look like Bruce Wayne. So that means that Robert Pattinson will be able to play an evil version of himself. And Robert Pattinson is a great actor in that way. He could pull that off and make it really fun. So yeah, that Hush would be cool, rather cool. Mikhail says, I'm here for Marvel What If Season 3. Cool. I didn't see what... I don't know if they've released what the What If episodes are going to be in the Season 3. But Marvel, they haven't picked the most interesting, you know, stories for What If, I don't think. And even when they do, they rush through them, it feels like. Big Bash says, I want to see how Calendar Man would be done. Yeah, that would be cool. Black Mask was wasted in Birds of Prey, says Deadwolf. If it's like the Long Halloween Calendar Man, then... If it's like the Long Halloween Calendar Man, then yeah. I think Clancy Brown will be a good Kingpin. Well, Clancy Brown I think will be a better Lex Luthor. He has voiced Lex Luthor in the past. So I think he would be a much better Lex Luthor. I mean, James Gunn did turn Polka Dot Man from a joke to a character people loved, so yeah. Yeah, but he was still a joke as well, you know, the character, you know. But yeah, he did do something with him that people did like, yeah. And then he killed him. Jake says, imagine what if I were to purchase fast food and disguise it as my own cooking. Yeah, that would be funny. Alright, so I think that's it in terms of the story that we've got for this. And I've said, what other spin-offs would you guys like to see from Batman's Rogues Gallery in Matt Reeves' universe in the forms of these TV shows? And yeah, you've given some good ideas. I would like to see, I think, a Two-Face, a Harvey Dent spin-off show. But at the same time, I think you would have to incorporate Batman in there a bit as well. So yeah. Alright, now we're on to the Q&A session. So what questions do you guys have? And like I said as well, if you use Streamlabs, I've got the link of Streamlabs in the I've got it pinned in the chat, and it's in the description as well. If you use that, the donation will pop up on the screen. Your message will pop up on the screen and get a notification. So, and also, like I said, all 100% of the donation goes to me, and you know, YouTube don't take any cuts. So, if you do it that way, that will be the best way if you want to do any donations. But it's entirely up to you. Super chats or Streamlabs chats, entirely up to you. So, we're at the Q&A. Ask me questions, and I'll give you answers. Bully Maguire says, like the new haircut you got on. It's funny, earlier the haircut did look a little bit emo, like on one side, like of my hair. Like, that wasn't it. But it looked a bit emo, I remember, and I was like, oh, that looks a bit like emo Peter. And then I changed it just so it wouldn't look so emo. Big Bash says, I think Dylan O'Brien could be a good Spider-Man. I think he could be maybe more of a good... Could he play a Nightwing, do you think? Or something? He could play something, I think. Do you have any interest in the new Nosferatu movie, Eric? I'm curious, but I don't know. It looks a little bit noisy. I think when I saw the trailer, I thought it looked a bit noisy. It's like, I don't like movies that just be very noisy, and that's what that one kind of looked like to me. But we'll see when it comes closer to release. I'll probably watch it and do a review of it in my car like I've done before. Let's see, what else? GEG says, what about that new Star Wars trilogy directed by the Dark Phoenix guy, Eric? Yeah, that's not happening. I don't buy it. And I would tell you guys not to buy it either. I think that's a lie. I think Kathleen Kennedy is basically trying to get that information out there just to kind of like mess with people, or just to try to force Disney to basically fund it for her and Lucasfilm to fund it for her, just like she did with The Acolyte. I wouldn't trust it. So don't trust that news. I think it's all fake. It's not going to happen, just like the Rian Johnson trilogy didn't happen. It's not going to happen, just like the Rey movie that she's trying to say happened has not happened. This is not going to happen either. I think she's only putting it out there because it's been said that the Rey movie has lost its writer, it said recently. So now she's trying to put this out there to kind of like counter the bad publicity for her Rey project. But it's not happening. Even if you read a recent article, I think it was from Deadline or something? They said Lucasfilm employees were surprised to hear about that because it was something they didn't even know about. So yeah, that trilogy is not happening. She said Rian Johnson was going to have a trilogy. That didn't happen. So a lot of it didn't work out. A lot of it didn't happen. So yeah, I would say that. Don't fall for it. Jake says, by the way, I have to go now. Have a good one. Oh, that's a shame, Jake. You only just got here. Would have liked to have you on here for longer. Okay, that's alright then. Let me at least answer your question, because I did see you posted a question, but I was answering these others. Where is it? What's the most violent cartoon series you'd say? Most violent cartoon? Ooh, that's a good question. I would say... What was the most violent cartoon? The Harley Quinn show did seem really quite bloody. I only saw the first few episodes and it wasn't for me, I thought. But I thought the Harley Quinn show had a lot of blood in it. Invincible has a ton of blood in it. I'd say Invincible. Yeah, Invincible was so gory, I would say. So yeah, Jake, my answer to that would be Invincible. Ooh, Boys Diabolical, says Hunter. Yeah, the Boys Diabolical also had a lot of blood in it. A lot of gore. So, yeah. Huey Toonmore says, Eric, what are your thoughts on Cynthia Erivo's meltdown over her fan-edited poster for the Wicked movie? It was bloody ridiculous. Like, I looked at her and thought, what, are you an idiot or something? It was a fan photo done out of love, and she said this is as offensive as it gets. And she tried to make it out like it was all racism and everything. She was full of shit. 100% she was full of crap. I don't know, like, I actually got annoyed when I heard that. I was like, how are you trying to turn that into a whole political, like, offensive political thing? That's what she tried to do. She tried to turn it into something offensive. She said it's some of the most offensive shit she's ever seen. She also tried to make it out like I stood at the end of a barrel of a gun by choosing to be on camera, and it was just a freaking fan photo. It was an innocent fan photo. It's like, what the hell is wrong with you? I've lost all respect for her from that. She's just someone who wants to see herself as a victim, I bet you she wanted some racism to come her way so she can then try to be like this political figure, this that everyone can look up to. But she wasn't getting that because a lot of people weren't using any racial language or anything with this movie. It was actually gaining momentum. But then she was like, oh damn, no one's saying anything bad, so what should I do? Oh, let's just pick this and say this is offensive. And then she wrote all that and she looked stupid because of it. It was bloody embarrassing. So, yeah, those are my thoughts on that. I was like what else is there to say? It's like, this person is just, like, crazy. JT says, hey Eric, have you ever watched Beware the Batman? If not, you should check it out. It'll help overcome the disappointment that was Cape Crusader. I watched a couple episodes of it back in the day because I was excited by the prospect of a new Batman animated show. I always used to watch those, and I always used to pay attention to those. But then when I saw it, I was like, you know what? This is actually very lame. They did not have any of the main Batman characters in there for some reason, and they just had all of these side characters in there, and the show felt very dull, like it couldn't go as dark as it wanted to. And Alfred, the version of Alfred there, was so weird. I was like, you know what, after watching a couple episodes, I was just done. I was like, I can't watch this is too dull for me. So I actually thought, based on the first 2-3 episodes I saw, I thought it was worse than Cape Crusader. Harsher Critical says, did you see the trailer for the new Wolfman movie? I did. Looks interesting. Looks very cheap at the same time, though, but very interesting. King of the Monsters 2021 has done another £1 super chat, or Streamlabs chat, and he says, I want to ask, how is your own Prime Minister? I've heard he's not doing a really good job over there. None of our politicians are doing a good job over here. They're all full of it. They all can make things better, but they choose not to, because they like the status quo. That is, keep the rich people rich and the poor people poor. They're just trying to further that as much as they can. So, yeah. Bunch of nonsense coming from them. Skyzer Wilhelm says, I thought Beware the Batman was forgettable. I always thought Alfred was Lex Luthor. Yeah, Alfred did seem bold, like a Lex Luthor kind of butler who worked in the Secret Service or something, or MI6. It was so weird, man. It really was. Killick has done a $2 super chat. Thank you very much, buddy. You're being very generous with these super chats, guys. You really are. Thank you very much for that. I really do appreciate it. Like I said, this helps keep the channel going, helps keep the show going, and it helps me bring you more high-quality content. Including, like, in fact, before this video, I was working on the Joker versus video, and after this, I'm still going to be working on editing videos for you. So these donations really do help keep the channel going. So thank you very, very much. I really do appreciate it. What's your opinion on the Minecraft movie, says Harshly Critical. I've not played Minecraft because it's one of those games I'm afraid that if I play, I'll just lose my life to it, and I'll never be able to take myself away from it. So I try not to play those games. I've stayed away from like Minecraft and Diablo and all these RPGs and things that, take up so many hours. I like to play straightforward single-player campaign games because they have a beginning, middle, and end. And I can replay certain things if I get addicted to them, but I don't have to, It's not like with other games where there's no end in sight, you can just keep going. So that's why I prefer single-player campaign games. But yeah, Minecraft, I've not played it, but from what I've seen of the gameplay, it seems like visually, I think they've done a pretty decent job bringing it across. I think where people are not happy with the movie is the fact that they're making it very much like Jumanji by putting real characters, real actors in there. And it feels very much like the Jumanji sequels with Dwayne Johnson in them. It feels very much like it's trying to be like that. So I think that's why people are not liking the Minecraft movie very much. But for me, I don't know. I don't know much about Minecraft, so I could watch it as just a standalone movie. I wouldn't really be comparing it to the game. So we'll see what I think. But you guys know I wasn't too fond of Jumanji, so I might not be that fond of this either. We'll have to see. Selena says, what do you think about the 2019 Hellboy movie? It was bad. It was clearly, you could tell the director had lost all creative control, and they gave him nothing. Because that's what happened with that movie. The producers took all the control away from him, To the point that they would not even let him choose what a frickin' tree would look like. So, yeah, just to spite them, he put a tree in the shot that he wanted. Just to spite them, the director did. That's how much control they took away from him. And they put his name on there, saying it was directed by him in the end. They say a producer can be your best friend or your worst enemy. And in this case, this is an example of a producer being your worst enemy. Nostalgia Critic says, Eric, why did you compare my Logan review to the Adam West Batman show? Why would you do that? This is, of course, not actually the Nostalgia Critic, but for those of you that don't know, when the Nostalgia Critic reviewed Logan all those years ago, I commented on his Logan review, and I did not like it when Doug Walker reviewed it. I said that he's treating this movie like it's a piece of shit. Like it's essentially like some goofy, corny shit from an Adam West Batman movie or something. And a lot of people agreed with me. They gave me thumbs up on that comment. I actually thought it was a very bad review, especially because R-rated comic book movies were newly coming back at that point. We had Deadpool 1, and then we had Logan. And Logan, it was like, that's a risk to take a PG-13 character and turn him rated R. No one has done that, ever. I think still no one has done that, taken a PG-13 character and said, let's make him rated R. Their flagship PG-13 character. So yeah, they did Logan, they did a wonderful job, but Nostalgia Critic, or Doug Walker, he did not pay... It felt like he wasn't paying attention to the movie. It felt like he was just looking at his phone or something, which he probably did. And he was saying the movie doesn't explain several things, when it clearly did, but he, for some reason, just wasn't listening. So yeah, I said it was a terrible review, and it was one of his bad reviews. And a lot of people agreed with me. And he recently made a video where he says, was he right or was he wrong? And he says, yeah, he was wrong. But it took him a lot of years to do so. But yeah, Logan was a phenomenal movie. It deserved so much respect for what it did and what it achieved. And yeah, for him to just essentially just take a shit on it. You can't say all the things that he was saying and then say, oh no, but it's well done. That doesn't compute. So yeah, I did not like that review. And yeah, I commented that in the comments of his video. And yeah, it turns out he thinks he's wrong on that. And then I did my versus video of the Wolverine versus Logan. And a lot of you guys liked that video. That was, I think, my third ever versus video that I made. So it just goes to show how long we've been doing this, how long I've been making these versus videos. And yeah, I did that. And yeah, I did not like that review of his. Charlton says, I feel like Nostalgia Critic tends to be negative on most movies he reviews. Well, just look at who you're talking to. I've been negative on a lot of movies as well. Movies that some people say that they really do like certain Marvel movies, for example. But I've given a lot of praise to the good ones. Take care, Fireboy. Thank you for joining the stream, buddy. I really appreciate it. The Dark Lord says, then Deadpool 2. Yeah, then Deadpool 2 after Logan. Skyzer Wilhelm says, have you seen the concept art for Avatar 3? If you have, what do you think? Are you excited or interested? Not really. I liked the second movie when I saw it, but I've never felt the need to go back to it again. So that kind of says a lot about it. James Cameron really has to get his head out of his ass and tell a good story. He makes it out like he doesn't need a story, like it's all this and that, and true, he's right, because his movies still make a lot of money. But at the same time, it's like, come on, it's taken you that long. The technology cannot be the only thing you are working on. You should have worked on, you know, the character development or a bigger story, but it feels like he's being very lazy with the story. So, yeah, I liked the movie a lot when I saw it, but the fact that I don't want to go back to it says a lot. So, we'll see what he does with the third one. I hope he does a better story, because it feels like he's copying Avatar: The Last Airbender. The first movie was about Earth, you know, the plant life and everything. The second movie was about water. The third movie is about fire. I'm wondering if the fourth movie is going to be about air or something, but it does seem like he's following the Avatar: The Last Airbender thing. If there's going to be a prince in there and a king, like the fire Navis or whatever, that will be very much like a Zuko Avatar: The Last Airbender thing. The Time Shadow, your comments are showing up, by the way, so I am seeing them. You're saying, can you see these comments? I don't know if these ones are showing up. They are showing up, so don't worry, buddy. That was a one-time problem last week, where your comments were not showing up for some reason. Huey Toonmore says, is it okay of me that I did not like your versus video for King Kong vs. Godzilla. I thought the original Japanese version was superior, while you only talked about the English dub. That's the English dub. I think was the only version I could find, at least at the time. No, actually, no. I didn't get the English dub. I watched the Japanese one. The English subtitles were in it. I remember. But yeah, I was not too fond of it. I liked it, but it was really silly, very silly. Too silly. That was the problem. It was too silly. And the costumes didn't look good. King Kong's costume looked very cheap. It looked like roadkill. So I think they could have done a better job with it. But there were a lot of laughs to have with it. But yeah, if you didn't like the versus video, that's perfectly fine. I don't expect people to like all my versus videos. I'm just giving my honest opinions when I review these movies. Giving my very honest opinions as to what I think. And yeah, I wasn't too fond of the original King Kong vs. Godzilla. But I did like the newer one. Selena says, what if Marvel got Neil Marshall to direct Blade? That would be interesting, wouldn't it? But Marvel will take creative control away from him, and I don't think he wants to have another movie where creative control is taken away from him, so I don't think so. I don't think he would want that. Yeah, that would be bad. Harsher Critical says, did you play the new Batman Arkham game in VR? If you did, what are your thoughts? No, I have not played it because I don't have those virtual reality headsets. They cost a lot, and I don't really feel the need to use them. And they're still way too big for me to want to put those on my head for prolonged periods of time. And I've got plenty of distractions in my life. I don't need to give myself more, I don't think. So yeah. But I hear it's very good, I've heard. Even though it looks very janky with the gameplay videos we see. Let's see. The Time Shadow, you had to switch again. I'm sure. Switch back to your other account, Time Shadow, and then comment, and let me see what happens then. I think I did see your comment earlier, but I didn't address it. Let's see. The G-Gamer says, not gonna lie, some of the Versus videos were really well made, while others I laughed at parts. Oh, did you laugh because you didn't agree with opinion on mine or something? Is that why you laughed? Time Shadow, I can see that. Yeah, so we can see your comments now. Everything is sorted. I can see your comments, Time Shadow. Yeah, your comments are showing up. Floor says, Eric, will you do a Transformers 1 review? I'll try. But things are getting quite hectic. I've got a lot of work to do right now. But I'll try to find a way to let you guys watch my thoughts on the movie. I'll try my best on that, alright? Maybe as part of the watch-along, I'll try to do it, maybe. Again, you got to become a YouTube member for that. But maybe I'll try to do that at a point. Deadwall says, Nostalgic also didn't like X-Men 2 and Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I thought he liked Guardians of the Galaxy 2 better than the first one, he said, which is kind of what I thought. Source Fear says, I love the videos where you roast the MCU movies, Eric. Such a delight to listen to. Well, I've got another one I'm working on, so stay tuned for the next few days. It'll probably come out by then. Skies at Wilhelm says, I lost interest in Transformers after the last night. Haven't seen one since. Me neither. Actually, except for Bumblebee. But I hear this one, people say good things about it, so I'll give it a watch and we'll see. Oh. The G-Gamer goes, no, I laughed at the jokes you made in the video. Like, for example, the I'm dead inside joke. Oh, right. Yeah. Humor comes to me sometimes. I've done some humor, a little bit of humor in this upcoming Joker versus video, which was fun to put in. I only like to put the humor in when it comes to me naturally and I don't force it. Then I tend to put humor in. So when I'm writing, I'm like, okay, I can put a joke in. That's usually when I do it, when I feel like it's natural. Oh, Deadwall says, I was actually meant to say Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Alright, okay. That's understandable. I'll tell you this, my family, they don't really like Guardians of the Galaxy 3 very much. So Guardians 3 is very much a movie that is kind of split. Eric, what is your writing process when it comes to taking notes for your versus video, says Big Bash? Well, you just write what you're thinking at the time as you're watching it, and then later on you have to put your notes into categories. Like, these are notes for the story, these are notes and comments for the action, maybe the characters, and this stuff doesn't really fit anywhere, so it's very conclusive, so you should put these notes in the conclusion. That's how I usually structure everything in my scripts. For the versus videos, that is. Time Shadow goes, Eric, I like the videos where you're talking about films you don't like. It's always fun watching YouTubers reviewing things that they really don't... It's always fun watching YouTubers reviewing things they really don't like. I've watched your Lion King video a lot. Oh, that's good. I'm glad you enjoyed the Lion King video. I remember that one took me a long time, and I got no pay for it because I got like 6 copyright claims on it. I worked through all night trying to get rid of them, and in the end, it was just compromising the video, and the claims were still coming in. So, in the end, I had to put that video out. I spent weeks on it. I got no pay in the end for it, despite all the work I was putting in. I remember, like, I couldn't monetize the video. So that was quite sad, I remember. Big Bash says, what is your writing process when it comes to non-versus videos? They can be a bit trickier, because I know the structure for the versus videos, but these non-versus videos, you have to figure out the structure. What kind of video do you want it? Do you want it to be a video where you talk about pros and cons, and then a conclusion? Or do you want to have it mixed? Because sometimes in reviews you like to talk about the good points, then mention a bad point, then go back to the good points, and then mention some bad points, then go back to good. It depends what structure you want. I tend to like having some kind of structure in the videos. It makes them go along at a much nicer and easier pace. Whereas other videos, there are certain channels where they don't structure the videos out, and it feels like they've just got a scatterbrain video where there's just random thoughts going along everywhere. So you got to put in some kind of structure, I think. Saeed says, do you use ChatGPT to structure your videos? No, because ChatGPT speaks in its own kind of language. You guys know how I speak, and I try to make sure that I keep that, because although ChatGPT can help with some things, you really want to make sure you write your own scripts, because that way your own voice comes through, and you're not leaving it all to the computer, where the computer doesn't have a personality like you do. It's manufacturing a personality. It's trying to create a personality. Meanwhile, with me, I don't try with my personality. My personality just comes across organically, and that, I think, is makes for the most genuine video. So that's why, even though I could use ChatGPT, I don't use it to formulate my scripts. I usually use it just to give me some, like, to help with the description, maybe, on occasion, when I'm too tired. Like, there was one point, I think it was a recent Godzilla versus video I did. I was so tired, and it was late at night, and I just told it, just put a description together for me based on this, and it did, and I copied and pasted it, and I used that. I also did tags at a point as well, like search tags and stuff, and I told it to do that, but the scripts I like to do on my own. Big Bash says, is your writing process different when it comes to TV shows? No, it's essentially the same as my versus videos, where you have to write your pros and your cons and put everything in the categories. Then you just gotta structure it, and structuring a TV show review is difficult. I don't even know what I'm going to do with the Penguin review coming up. I don't know if I'm going to do a video where I'm talking in front of the camera like this, or if I'm going to do a scripted one. Right now I'm leaning towards scripted, but we'll have to see how that goes. Or sometimes I could try to incorporate both styles in. We'll have to see. Syed says, I'm so slow at writing, man. Well, tell me about it. I'm very slow at writing too. The Puss in Boots versus video, I'm still doing it. I'm still writing it, but I'm getting closer to finishing it. Sometimes you just can't rush your best work. You just gotta take your time and do it gradually, and then it'll come to you. For me, sometimes, yeah, it does take long. I don't like that it takes long, but it does, and there's nothing you can really do about that. Robin says, when's the Joker versus video coming out? Well, it'll be out for patrons in the next couple days, and for YouTube members in the next couple days. But for everyone else, I haven't decided. I like to give patrons their money worth for, you know, supporting the channel, and because I've said that early access is a perk for being a patron or for being a YouTube member, so I try to give them, make sure they get their money's worth. But, yeah, that's what I usually try to do. So, you'll get it sometime next week, hopefully. Patrons definitely will. You guys will have to wait a little bit more, but you will get it. Don't worry. Verma, I'm not going to tell you that. You're saying, what is the score for Puss in Boots 2? I'm not telling you that. You're going to have to wait. We are getting so many superhero shows lately. Yeah, we are. But the thing is, Marvel superhero shows are not good. But we do know that DC's are better. Because they've got supervillain shows too. They've got the Penguin show, which is great so far. They've also got Peacemaker, which is great. They've got Peacemaker Season 2 coming, which I have no doubt is going to be great. And then they're going to have like a Lanterns show, which I feel like also should be great. Eric, what are your top 5 MCU movies? Top 5. I'd say The Winter Soldier, Infinity War, Civil War, and Endgame, and then the 5th would probably be the first Iron Man. Time Shadow says, saw Venom 3 last week, loved it, such a great way of ending the trilogy. Well, you've seen my review and you'd know what I thought. I thought it wasn't... I was not overly fond of the movie, but I did enjoy the climax considerably. Skyzer says, will you ever do an Alien versus video between Romulus and the first 2 Alien films? No, I'm kind of tired of doing Alien versus videos. It's like, they're not special enough to where you'd really want to compare them. Romulus was just another Alien movie. It didn't feel like there was anything specific about it that was worth comparing, in my opinion. The Time Shadow says, I know this is a long shot, and you'll probably say no, but how would you feel about a Venom 1 versus Venom 3 video? I'd only do it if you'd pay me, which means if you commissioned it. I would not do it on my own, so you're right about it being a long shot. Syed says, Loki Season 2 was good though, the score is amazing. Well, don't worry, we'll be watching Loki on the channel eventually, and then you guys can watch it with me, and you'll see what I think. Khan says, Eric, I know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask anyway. Are you going to do Sonic 2 versus Sonic 3? Because someone in the chat kept asking about it. Did they? I must have missed it. This is why I say that it's always good to do Super Chats or Streamlabs chats, because it is hard to get everyone's messages. There's just so many of them. So if you do that, that will make it easier for me to spot your question. But yes, I will be. Sonic 2 versus Sonic 3. That is the idea. I'm not going to do a 3-way Sonic versus video because I'm just... I've done 2 versus videos of the first Sonic movie. I don't want to watch that movie again. I really am done with it because I've seen it too many times and it's just boring to talk about at this point. So I want to talk about a different Sonic movie, and Sonic 2 and 3, that would be the best ones to talk about because I didn't talk about Sonic 2 back in the day. So I'll talk about it now. Thoughts on Joker 2, says Logan Miracle. You're gonna have to wait for the Versus video. It's coming out soon. Yes, I can't wait for Sonic 3 either. That is something I'm really curious about. But is it better than the second movie? Because I did enjoy the second, but how much did I enjoy the second? You guys will have to wait for the Versus video to see. Do you still like Detective Pikachu? Yes, I do. I haven't seen it since that Versus video, but yes, I do like it. Hey Eric, will you ever do a Deadpool versus Deadpool 2 versus Deadpool Wolverine versus video? Maybe in the future, but not in the immediate future. Jess says, Eric, how did Nostalgia Critic treat you? And Sarah was the one who impersonated him. Sarah? Sarah's not even in the chat, is she? Is Sarah in the chat? Time Shadow says, I think it's a shame more people don't like the Venom films. I was glad to hear that you enjoyed the ending of the third film. It was probably the most praise I ever heard you give a Sony comic book film. Yeah. I just don't. I think they're just low effort, low quality. So yeah, that second movie was just a headache to listen to. It was torture to listen to. It was like a rush to the end. It was never stopping. Wasn't slowing down. Jess, you're the only one saying that she is in the chat. How do you know it's Sarah saying these things? Skyzer says, I don't think so, Eric. Verma says, my score for Agatha All Along is a 7 out of 10. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yes, fireworks are annoying. They happen here as well. Especially, I don't know why they happen locally near my area. Movie fan says, Eric, what is your favourite Versus video you enjoyed making the most? The Versus video I enjoyed making the most. I think I did enjoy the Zack Snyder Justice League Versus video. I also really enjoyed making the Lego Movie Versus video. That's my second Versus video I ever made. I thought that was a lot of fun when I made that. It was when the Versus videos were new and I was coming up with the format newly, and it was like all new to me. And you know, there were a lot of good memories making those earlier Versus videos because it was so new, and the views were crazy. I was getting crazy amounts of views on them. The G-Gamer says, has there been a Versus video where the two movies are different genres or like completely different? No, because it makes no sense to compare two movies that are entirely different. It's like you want to compare two movies because they have something in common. You know, so that's why you want to see which one is better at doing that thing that they both have in common. So that's why I don't try to do them too different. Like, I don't want to do a Versus video between, say, like, for example, let's just say if you did, like, Harry Potter and then you did Terrifier. It's like, what's the logic in comparing those? There's no reason to compare it. Which characters are superior? What story is superior? What villains are superior? It's like, there's no real reason for that. So that's why I've not done those. But of course, though, if you guys want to commission that on Patreon, then I will do it. If you guys want me to do a combination of comparisons like that, then I will. Matthew says, would you do a Versus video of all the new Halloween films? You mean the recent 3? Nah. The first one everyone knows is great. The second 2 were not. They got progressively worse. Khan says, I probably won't be doing Streamlabs anymore because my dad doesn't like how I donate cash to random people online. You're not the only one to have said that. Jake was the other one that said that as well. That's very bizarre. Crazy Cat Lady, hi. How have you been? I'm glad you managed to join the stream. Verma says, Lion King vs. Star Wars. Nah, not really, Verma. Time Shadow goes, Agatha All Along has turned out to be surprisingly popular. I was expecting it to flop like the Marvels, but I keep on hearing really good things about it. I've heard the first 4 episodes were not good. Like, they were just nothing special, up and down. Some episodes were good, some were not, and they were just going up and down in terms of quality. I also heard the stakes aren't that great. I also heard they didn't go as far as they could with the horror elements and things, and they put in a lot of jokes. They also have a song number in there, which is very similar to The Acolyte, where witches sing for some reason in Disney Marvel shows. They also dragged the show on. There was one episode, which is, I think I've heard someone say it was like just a rock concert or something. So I've heard a lot of mixed stuff about the show. The Time Shadow says, I don't tell my parents about the donations I do because I don't think they'd let me. That is interesting, because if I did donations to a content creator, my parents, they wouldn't even know, and they wouldn't say anything because they know it's up to me. That's at least how it is in my house, in my household. Deadwolf says Sonic will beat Mufasa in the box office. It will. I'll probably review Mufasa in my car like I did last time. I'll give you guys a review that way. But I don't think it's going to do a good job. I don't think it's going to, win any awards or anything. Saeed says, people are so inconsiderate. Why can't they do fireworks on Friday or Saturday night, or heck in the holidays, where during the nights of the week, where during the nights of the weekdays and during work or school time? Yeah, they do it whenever they want to on those worst possible days, don't they? It's funny because do you know when I was doing the Nightmare Before Christmas watch along on YouTube here? When I looked at the edited video, I noticed a bunch of sound waves, like a lot of interference in the audio, and I was like, I was not even talking the whole time when I was watching, and when I did, I can spot my audio track when I'm speaking. What's all this other interference? Looked into it. Turns out fireworks were going on when I was doing that Nightmare Before Christmas watch-along, but I was wearing my headphones, so I couldn't hear any of it. But the microphone picked it all up, so that's annoying that happened. Adam Grunther, great to see you here, buddy. I've been missing you. I remember there was a time where you used to come on every one of these streams, but lately, it's been like, you know, you show up and then there's a break and then you show up. I miss you, buddy. I remember when you used to be, like, here with the rest of the chat family. But I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for dropping by, bud. Let me just write this down. Adam says, who is your favorite villain in the Batman Reeves verse? Riddler, Penguin, Falcone, Sophia, or Maroni? That's a good question, bud. Because I didn't think about all of them together as, like, which would you prefer? My favourite villain of all of them, so far I'd say is the Penguin. Love the Riddler as a villain, he was great. Falcone is a good villain, although he didn't do much in the Batman, but he did more in the Penguin show. Sophia's a fantastic villain. Maroni, I would say is a good villain, but then we just saw what happened with his arc in last week's episode, and I was a bit disappointed. And let's see, and yeah, I think Sophia is fantastic. We all know she's fantastic. So yeah, I do really enjoy all these villains, but I would say the Penguin is the best one. Because something that you realize about Penguin in that recent last couple episodes, especially when Maroni was talking to Sophia, is you realize that Penguin is more put together. He's learned a lot more. Sophia is not as smart as the Penguin is. And I kind of thought they were both very similar in terms of intelligence. But you realize, no, he's got much more smarts than she does. So, yeah, that makes him more intimidating. And he does some really dark shit as the show goes on. So, I will say, Adam, that 7th episode, the beginning of it, the opening, that made me hate him. Like, I was like, okay, before I liked and hated the Penguin, now I just straight up hate him. What he did there, and it was the scene in the very opening of the 7th episode, you'll know what it is. I was like, man, that's it. He's crossed a line. I don't like him now. Which is great, because that's what he's supposed to be. He's supposed to be a very evil villain. You're not supposed to like him. And what they showed, I was like, damn. Oh yeah, Adam says, normally when these streams happen now, he's working. Okay, that's fair enough. That's understandable. Well, more than understandable. It's a shame, though. I don't know. It's hard to find the right time where everyone's watching. It is quite tricky. Adam Grunther says, for me, it's Sophia. She's the one villain who I think is genuinely scary. Here's the thing, though. I think the Penguin could be genuinely scary, but the thing is, we're following the story from his perspective. So out of all the people that are there, it feels like we're on his side, so he's the one whose side we're on. Because you have to pick someone's side when you're watching a show like this. So it's like when you watch Breaking Bad. Walter White, there comes a point where he's just a drug dealer. He's a bad guy. But we follow him anyway, even though he's done a lot of terrible things. The same with Penguin. He's a terrible guy, but in this world where in this show where we've got a lot of villains, you can pick to be on whoever side you want. But the show very much is from the Penguin's perspective. So you're on his side, and you're kind of clued into when he's going to do all these terrible things. But if the story was, say, told from Sophia's perspective, and the Penguin was the villain, or Batman's perspective and the Penguin was the villain, then you would be more scared of the Penguin, because you would not expect him to pull out all these things that he's doing. But because perspective is always a big thing, because they're very much from approaching the show from his perspective, it makes him less scary, if that makes sense. But if they swap perspectives, I think he would be scarier, because he's more capable than Sophia is. Sophia has actually not been in this world of mobsters very much, so she's not as educated in this world as he is, and that's what makes him scarier to me. He's far more ruthless than she is. Adam says that opening, the kind of stuff I want in a comic book villain show. You're talking about the opening in episode 7? Yeah, that was insane. Let's see. Dead Walter's got to leave now. See you next week. Had a fun stream. I had fun with you too, buddy. Take care. Thank you for joining. The Time Shadow says, I'm glad we moved the streams to later in the evening, because back when these streams started, I often only got to see the first 30 minutes before I had to go have dinner and didn't get to see it. That's good, because for me it makes it easier doing them later, and I've gotten to a point where I feel like a lot of you are around at this point, but it is still tricky because I've got viewers in various places, so who knows, maybe I'll experiment and do the stream at a different time at some point, just to see how much people we get in, so I'll have to see. It's tricky. Skyzer Wilhelm says, I like how they didn't try to make the Penguin a misunderstood anti-hero. I'm sick of those kind of villains. We can have villains who have difficult childhoods and still turn evil. I agree with you, Skyzer. Still turn out evil. Ooh, Adam Grunther says, if this show sticks the landing, it will beat Peacemaker as the best comic book property focused on a villain for me. That is big praise, because I know you love Peacemaker. And I love Peacemaker as well. I've seen Peacemaker 2 times, I think, or 3 times at this point. And I do want to see it again. I always skip on Peacemaker the little comedy bits that they go on where they're all arguing between each other. There's a couple that are funny, but then there are others that feel like they're doing it just to do it, and it wasn't as funny as the previous argument the characters had. But yeah, I love that show. I really hope they do stick the landing, because I did think that episode 7 was a bit of a disappointment in terms of Maroni. And the storyline there. I thought that was very disappointing. So hopefully they do pay it off very well in the next one. According to Colin Farrell, there is something that was done that was so dark in the 8th episode where he goes that you'll not... he says, I have a feeling you won't like the Penguin by episode 8. He goes, if you do like him in the first few episodes, he goes, by the time we get to the final episode, he goes, I have a strong feeling you won't be liking him very much then. So I'm curious, what does Penguin do in the final episode that will make you hate him? Because Colin Farrell said that when he did that scene, or whatever it is, whatever that scene was, he says that even the crew, there was this vibe, this negative kind of vibe when they were filming that scene. So I'm like, wow, what happened? I'm thinking, did he kill Vic or something? That's what me and my brother have been speculating since the beginning. Because that interview happened when the show was about to get episode 2. And, yeah, we're thinking it could be that he killed Vic, but I thought the darkest thing happened at the beginning of episode 7, so I don't know how it can get worse than that. Movie fan says, well, it's Matt Reeves, we have our respect towards him. Charlton says, I've seen Peacemaker three times. I got my mum to watch it, and now she enjoys seeing John Cena as an actor. Yeah, me too. I enjoyed seeing John Cena as an actor after I saw him in Peacemaker. Prior to that, I didn't care. And when he popped up in not Mission Possible, when he popped up in Fast and Furious 9, I was like, oh god, they hired another wrestler. First The Rock, now him. But when I watched Peacemaker, I realized, wow, he's actually a very good actor. And then when he popped up in Fast and Furious 10, I almost jumped out of my seat. I was like, oh good, John Cena's in here. And then I was like, hang on, what just happened? The last time he popped up in Fast and Furious, you didn't want to see him. You were just annoyed that they put him in. You're like, this guy, seriously, why? But then in this one, I was like, nah, I got excited. Peacemaker has done a lot for him. It really has. It's shown that he's got a lot of range, a lot of acting range. Well, that's a good point, Adam. He says the Peacemaker show is a good showcase of a redemption for a villain, while Penguin does a good job at the villain becoming a worse person. That is very true, because Penguin, throughout these episodes, he's done one terrible thing in each of these episodes, and it seems like he's getting worse and worse till the very, very end. So we'll see what he does in the final episode that got Colin Farrell so worked up, and the crew, apparently. Jess says, Eric, say your line when all the male characters die in movies and video games. What line is that? Skyzer says, watching The Penguin with my parents is so funny because they're constantly covering their eyes and leaving the room just as the violent parts begin. Oh, really? Because I don't think the show is that violent. It's violent, but not, gratuitously violent. I'd say Peacemaker has more blood in it than Penguin does. Then again, it is more fantastical blood. You could tell it's CGI and everything. The Penguin does have some CGI blood as well, but it does have a bit more close-up blood, I guess. So, yeah, I can see what you mean. Oh, Connor says, "What is up, Eric? I've been to Liverpool Comic Con today. Sebastian Stan was there." Oh, cool. Skyzer says, "John Cena is much better actor than The Rock. Peacemaker is a better villain property than Black Adam. So disappointed by that movie. You and me both." But that's great, Connor. I'm glad you had a fun time. That's great. The Time Shadow says, "I'm surprised you're paying money to see Mufasa in the cinema, considering how the outcome of The Lion King." Well, that's where your donations come in. I always say that your donations do help. It helps me make more content, allows me to afford the tickets, allows me to do this full time, because that's what I say. I say my channel is my full-time job. And it also allows me to get more equipment that I need to edit. Like I said, I'm using a monitor right now. It's not a 4K, it's a 2K monitor, which I'm testing, and I might give back by the end of January to Amazon, because they've got that thing where they say in the end of the year you have an extended returns policy they have. And I thought, all right, let's give this monitor a try. It's made my editing easier, but I'm still gonna give this monitor probably back. We'll see how my experience with it goes, but the thing is, I need a 4K monitor. This is 2K, but the 4Ks are very expensive monitors, and I basically need one if ever I decide to make 4K videos in the future. So you see what I mean? So basically, your donations, they really do go a long way, and they really do help in allowing me to continue making content. So yeah, that's why... what comment was I responding to? Oh yeah, it's about paying to see Mufasa. But yeah, that's why I'm able to do stuff like pay to see Mufasa and pay to see these other movies you want me to review. So that's why I say thank you very much for your donations. They go a very long way towards helping me improve on the channel and make better videos for you guys. Alright, oh wow. Firma says John Cena was the voice for a Cartoon Network character. Which one? Yeah, Saeed, I know there's going to be an Israeli character in Captain America 4. I hope people let Marvel know about that, because that... very bad timing to be doing something like that, and I don't think you can put those two words together, honestly, based on everything they've done. Gary Loke says, "Have you seen the new Squid Game Season 2 trailer?" I haven't. I still have to. Bully Maguire says, "Eric, it's funny that I should say Quentin Tarantino refuses to watch the new Dune movies because he feels like he doesn't need to revisit them again." Yeah, Denis Villeneuve responded to what Tarantino said, and he goes, "It's not a remake." He goes, "I'm actually adapting the book properly." That's what it is. But yeah, Tarantino says a lot of weird shit lately. Like, even recently, he said that Joker 2, he loved it and that it was great because Todd Phillips is the Joker. I'm like, no. Joker is not... It just goes to show how he does not understand the character. Joker has a lot of good writing to him. It's not just random writing. It's like, oh, he's a random character. Anyone who says the Joker is random does not understand the Joker. The Joker always has a plan. Everything is, like, very intricately planned with him. He doesn't just do stuff just to do stuff. That's what someone would say if they don't understand the Joker, and Tarantino does not understand the Joker. So what he said there was just nonsense. Where was that comment gone? Connor says, I also saw Venom 3 last week, and in my opinion, it was a breath of fresh air compared to Carnage. Well, compared to Carnage, it was better, because that was the worst of the three. Saeed says, "Trust me, the Cat 4 movie will bomb as the climber of the movie." I hope it does for that one reason. That's a nerve to include that character in the film. But also, the movie just doesn't look good anyway. From what I've heard and the test screening leaks that have come out, it sounds like it's a very bad movie. Speaking of Joker 2, that movie has settled that Heath Ledger is the best Joker by far. Yep. But that's because that movie didn't really allow Joaquin Phoenix to be the Joker for the film. Eric, do you think Christopher Nolan can make a good Spider-Man movie? I don't think so. I don't know. It feels like it's very much the opposite of what he would do. So maybe he could, I don't know, but I think it's not really in his wheelhouse, if I'm being honest with you. That being said, I would love to see Raimi come back. Have it, let him do full control and make the spy movie he wants to make. Moofan, thank you very much for joining the stream. I really appreciate it. Take care, buddy. We're going to end the stream in about 5 minutes, so if anyone else has any questions or Streamlabs questions or Super Chat questions, by all means go ahead and I'll answer your questions. The Time Shadow says, I feel like I don't always understand what the Joker's plan is in things, but that's more of a me problem. Like I have trouble understanding lots of things. I think I have some sort of problem. Who knows? I feel like my brain has not been working as fast as it usually used to as well. I don't know if it's long-term COVID or something, but yeah, my mind is slower to remember things. Skyzer says, 5 minutes equals 5 hours later. That's only if everyone keeps donating right when I'm about to leave. When that happens, I always say, you guys know this, I've always said, if someone donates, I don't care if I say I was going to end the stream, I'll stay on the stream until I've answered all of your questions. And yeah, that's the only way it will mean 5 hours later, is if people keep donating and I have to answer them and then they do it before I leave again. That's the only way. Have you seen Generator Rex, says Verma? I saw a few episodes when I was younger, but yeah, I really used to watch Ben 10. Khan says, don't tempt Time Shadow, Eric. And Time Shadow goes, well, I have no more money, so I won't be doing that this week. Aha! Oh, I spoke too soon. Sarah's popped up into the chat. Sarah, it's great to see you. I was just talking about... Someone says, I said I'm going to leave in 5 minutes. And someone said, Skyzer said, 5 minutes equals 5 hours later. And I was like, no, that only happens if people donate to me when I said I'm about to leave. Like when people donate right when I'm about to leave. And you know, I said, you guys know what I always say is if someone donates, I'm not the YouTuber that will say, well, stream's over, can't answer your questions. I said I'll answer your questions till the very end. Only then will the stream end once the donations are over and your question is answered. And then someone says, Eric, be careful. Who said it? It was Khan who said, don't tempt Time Shadow, Eric. And then Time Shadow says, well, I have no more money, so I won't be doing that this week. And I was like, aha! And then right when I said that, you popped in the chat, said, oh, hello. And then Time Shadow was like, Sarah. And I was like, oh, shit. Oh, you're watching a movie, Sarah. What movie did you watch? Saeed says, how's your eczema situation going, Eric? Well, I don't know if you can tell. This eye is a little bit... not very bad, but I've got a bit of eczema over here on this eye. It's why one eye is more open than the other. It doesn't let me open my eyes all the way. You see, when I try to, you get this weird overlap, which is happening over here, and a little bit over here, where the skin is going over the eye a little bit. You see that? It's weird. So, yeah. It's a weird thing that happens. This usually happens in the winter. I don't know why. Oh, you watched Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. I watched that movie many years ago when it came on TV with adverts and everything. I think I watched it with my sister at the time. Yeah. Big Bash getting a haircut does not hurt with eczema, no. It did hurt once when I had an infection when I was younger. It was very wet and leaky, and then they had to be careful. My barber had to when he cut it. To this day, I use the same barber. But yeah. Matthew says, Eric, does Spider-Man 3 get better every time you watch it? Kind of a little bit, yeah, but I think it is kind of settled, where whatever my opinion of the movie is, it stays there. Oh, Sarah says, I was just about to say, Eric, nice new hairstyle. Thank you, Sarah. I just got it a couple days ago, I think, 2 days ago. But yeah. I don't know how old my barber is, Big Bash. My barber has moved from one place to another. It's further, but I followed him there. I have to drive to get to my barber now. But yeah, he's that good. Sarah, I've not seen Wild Robot, but I probably will, and I might watch it live with you guys. I don't know. Like I did a watch-along last time with Nightmare Before Christmas. I finally found a way to get the time codes on the stream, so from now on, when we do those watch-alongs, the time code will be there. Skyzer says, Eric, how much do I have to pay you to do a versus video between the original Power Rangers movie and the 2017 gritty reboot? I'm willing to pay in body parts. What is this, some Ferengi thing? I'll give you points if you know what reference that is. Let me see. Let me go back onto my Patreon and I'll give you an answer. Memberships. So if you want me to do a versus video, that's $350 for a versus video. That's all for the amount of time that goes into it and the editing and everything. Yes, Time Shadow, you got it, Ferengi. There was an episode where he thought he was gonna die and he was gonna sell off his body parts, but then it turns out he didn't die, but the person still wanted to collect what he paid for. Oh, Cole, don't worry about it. It's all right if you just got here. Have you? Yeah, I've not watched Wild Robot yet, Sarah. Khan says, did you watch the other Yu-Gi-Oh spin-off series like Yu-Gi-Oh GX and 5D? I gave GX and 5D a watch here and there, especially 5D because it would come on TV after school times. I was not very fond of it. My brothers would watch them more than I did, but I thought GX had a pattern where they would just degrade a lot of Jaden's life points, and then it would look like he's going to lose, but then in one move he would be able to take down his opponent's life points all the way to 0. It was just so predictable. A lot of the matches at the beginning of the first season would start off that way. Have you heated? What's that, Sarah? Skyzer goes, £300. Better get the saw out. Which would you rather, legs or hands first? Neither. Whenever you're ready, buddy. You don't have to pay that straight away, but whenever you do, and just know that like I've said, whenever these donations happen, it helps me make the show better, make my channel better, helps keep me going, helps me invest in more equipment. Like I said, I've got a new monitor here, which I'm testing out. If it all goes well, I'll keep it. But it is an investment to get a 4K monitor that's OLED, which is what I need. And yeah, so basically your donations all help towards that. So Patreon or YouTube memberships or Streamlabs donations or Super Chats all go towards helping and supporting the channel. So just know that when, it happens. Guys are still about to get ready to take the saw out. How about I just send Terrifier to your house instead? You remember the second one? What he did to that woman, to that character, to her. Oops, a daisy, that was hard. I dropped that. Time Shadow says, I watched the first Terrifier and oh my gosh, what he did to that woman upside down. I know. Sarah says, my donation won't send. Give me a sec. Take your time, Sarah. Don't worry about it. If Terrifier can do it quickly, so be it, said Skyzer. You're gonna live to regret those words. Actually, take away the live part. You're just going to regret those words, I think. Oh, Sarah, I don't think you want to know. Sarah says, what did they do to her upside down? You gotta know if you have a strong stomach there, Sarah. If you can tell her via emojis, that would be fascinating. Big Bash says, Eric, how do you think Spectacular Spider-Man compares to the 90s series? I didn't like the animation anywhere near as much as I liked the animation in the 90s series, which is shocking for Spectacular Spider-Man. You'd think they'd be able to do better animation, but they didn't. That's the problem with that animation. It's not really the animation that's the problem, as much as the colour is the problem. Spider-Man looks too desaturated. So I remember when I was watching, I think watching on my computer and using VLC, I boosted the saturation slightly, and the show looked a lot better because of it. So I'd say that's the biggest problem. Khan, I've not watched Shin Godzilla yet. I've been too busy. I've been trying to watch Arcane Season 2, but I've been too busy to see that. The only show I've been able to have time to see lately is The Penguin, and we've got the final episode coming out tomorrow. At least here in the UK it's coming out tomorrow, so yeah. Skyzer goes, if Terrifier can help me get me that Power Rangers versus video, I'm willing to go all in. Well, you just got to go all in on that Patreon section right there. That's all you got to do. Side says, how big is your room? It's not too big. It's just an attic room. It's not a big attic room, but it's good enough for me. You can also tell it's my actual room, as you can see. The bed behind me. See you, Eric, says Verma. Alright, see you, Verma. Thank you for joining the stream. I really appreciate it. Sharon says, hey Eric, glad I could make it. From Perth, Western Australia. If you haven't answered my question yet, could you please? By all means, Sharon. I think, is this the first time you're joining a stream? Because your name seems new to me. Connor says, Terrifier versus video would be fire. If it does happen, then I need to see 3 ASAP. Yeah, you will. 3 is the best one. Yep, Sarah, that is right. Khan says, Eric, there is a challenge and it's called Try Not to Say Anything Bad About Marvel, and I don't think you're going to make it, Eric. If I can't make it, I will, but it depends what phase of Marvel you're talking about. That's what it depends on. Sarah says, I can't donate. Are you trying to donate through Streamlabs or Super Chat? Let me know. Is it Streamlabs you're trying to donate through or the Super Chat? Super Chat. That's bizarre. If that doesn't work, try Streamlabs. Your message will pop up on the screen. Oh, is that why? Oh, you're on vacation. Oh, that's nice. Hope you're enjoying your vacation. I think I need to go on one. I've been very busy. I've just been working so much. And stuff has been going on in my personal life too, so yeah. Have I seen The Iron Claw, says Cole. I haven't, but I've heard people say good things about it. Matthew says there's rumours of a Logan 2 coming out. Yeah, I'm not going to buy that. It'd be ridiculous if they did, and I don't think Hugh Jackman would want that to happen, because it would kind of undo Logan, the first Logan. So yeah, let's not do that. Sharon says, this is my first stream. I've been subscribed for a while, though. Oh, cool. What was the first video of mine that you saw that made you want to subscribe, out of curiosity? I always like to ask my subscribers that question. Guys, Eric is about to leave and he didn't read my comment yet. I read a lot of your comments throughout the stream. Which one are you talking about? My comment was to show Eric a photo on Patreon of the male characters that got massacred on, so Eric can say his line. What? Let's see. What are you talking about? The chat, the community chat, or something? Let me look at my other screen here. Here's all the male characters that died in Hollywood movies: Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, Joel from The Last of Us, Dewey, and Indiana Jones. But Jess, you keep saying to say my line. What line are you talking about? I don't see what line you're talking about. What line you want me to say? Oh, Sarah is in Spain. Oh, that's fun. That's a very nice place to vacay. That is really good. Alicante, she's like... Sarah. Someone else asked me that question earlier. Sarah says, Eric, what do you think about the whole Wicked situation where a fan edited the poster to make it look like the musical one and Cynthia went berserk? I thought it was crazy. I thought it was ridiculous. I mean, that wasn't even a bad fan. Like, there's bad things that people could do online, but that was very complimentary. That was taking the poster and just doing an innocent fan edit to make it look like the original poster from the Broadway musical. There was nothing wrong with that. If anything, that Broadway musical poster was far better than the new Hollywood poster that had no expression to it. And she decided to go all berserk, in your words, like you said, all berserk, just because... Well, I don't even know why. She says that by covering her face, even though they covered the other character's face, she tried to make it out like this is the most offensive shit she has seen, and saying that she decided to go at the bottom of a barrel of the camera or something, some nonsense. It was crazy. It's like she wanted something offensive to come her way so she could end up looking like a victim, but she couldn't find any bad thing to say, any bad thing to point out. So she just tried to make herself a victim like this. It was ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous, and it just goes to show that she's a little crazy. Either she's a little crazy, or she was trying hard. She was trying hard to look like a victim because she wanted to have like a victim story. Like, look how much of a victim I am. This is how badly I've been treated, even though she was treated fine. It shows that she's insane. She's ridiculous. And I'm saying these words because there's far worse words I would want to use, but I don't want to say it just in case. It could be too mean. I don't like saying stuff like that online. That's not the kind of person I am to swear at people online like that. Even Ariana spoke about how it was not that bad. Yeah, but Ariana was at the same time, she was trying not to diss her co-star, even though her co-star deserved it. There was no drama going on with this movie, which there could have been. A black woman playing the witch, there could have been drama, but there wasn't. People were all good. And then she's the one that decided to, cause a problem. Yeah. By the way, Sarah, Sarah goes, you are always so considerate, Eric. Thank you. I've been raised well. By the way, you said that the donation didn't work. Is there a problem with the super chats thing? Is it a problem with YouTube's end, or is it a problem on your end? And did you try through Streamlabs? I just want to know that there's no issues going on. If there are, I need to basically check on those. Connor says, heading off now, Eric. Cheerio. Cheerio to you too, buddy. Sharon says, the first video I saw was the Black Widow versus Captain America the Winter Soldier. Ah. Cool. That's good. Let me take a look. How much... Sometimes I don't look at the performance of these videos. Let me see how it did. Black Widow versus Winter Soldier. Oh, the 44,000 view video that I did from 3 years ago. Oh, cool. Welcome. I'm glad you enjoy the video. Ah, Sarah says, I think it's a currency thing. Try Streamlabs. I think Streamlabs, they don't have that problem with currency. I think they'll convert it, so give that a try. You'll also pop up your donation on the screen if you have any questions you want to ask me. But yeah, Sharon, thank you very much. That's thank you very much for letting me know that. I always love to hear where you guys discovered my channel, and it warms my heart. So thank you very much. I really appreciate that, and clearly you enjoyed the video. Sarah says, was there no goal today? I mean, the goal, it still can be full if you want it to be. Here, I said that we'll end it, but I have not ended it yet, so if you still want to fill it to the end or whatever, if anyone wants to give it a go, sure thing, this will be the last chance to do it, and I'll review Coraline. Big Bash says, Eric, would you ever visit America if you had the chance? Yeah, if I had the chance to, I would. It would be nice. Khan says, I haven't tried Streamlabs and it worked just fine for me. That's interesting. I discovered your channel through that It's Versus video, says Khan. Oh yeah, a lot of people did. That video got like has got like 1.4 million views. Sarah says, spoil me, Eric. I love a good spoiler. At the risk of sounding dumb, Sarah, what do you mean? Skyzer says, the video that got me into your channel was the Black Panther vs. Aquaman video. I do love Chadwick Boseman and miss his inspiring King of Wakanda, but I just enjoyed Aquaman as a film more. Yeah, and in my Shazam review, when I reviewed Shazam as my quick movie review, I actually did give the movie, I gave the Aquaman a 10 in that video. So if you check out that Shazam video, I actually did up my score. So I actually like Aquaman more on repeat viewings. Oh, Sarah says the next goal. She means a movie to spoil. The next goal, the next movie. I don't think I've thought about the next one. You guys got any ideas? For like a review to do next week, like a mini review or something? What if I say... I was gonna say, what if I said Edward Scissorhands? Oh, Sarah says Spirited Away. You want me to review Spirited Away? Do I have the poster for that? I don't. Sarah, that movie made you cry? Okay, give me a second. I don't know why my computer is being so slow right now. Edward Scissorhands made you bawl your eyes out as well. Okay, give me a minute here. Eric, watch Taken. I've seen Taken a long time ago. I saw the unrated version. My family saw the the edited down version. They didn't like it very much. When they saw the unrated one, they enjoyed it a lot more. Man, Sarah, you got a lot of ideas here, haven't you? Catch me if you can. Cole says, have you seen Stand By Me? I don't think I have. Yeah, you do know, Sarah, that in order for those movies to actually be on here, that means that they have to reach the goal. Do you think they can reach the goal? What's your favorite role of Tony Todd aside from his famous role in Candyman? Um, I think I think the best role from Tony Todd was in what was the movie? I just had it in my head. The Flash. It wasn't a movie, but The Flash season 2 when he did Zoom. That was a great vocal performance that he did. Okay, what did Sarah just say? Where is it? She goes, probably not, but I'll work double shifts for you, Eric. Well, if you think that's possible, which one... Is Coraline still interesting to you? Is that a review you still want me? Because that, the bar is already full. Like a quarter way there. So, do you think that one you'd be able to get to the end, or do you think not? Because... Only reason I'm asking is because I am very close to basically just wiping this goal out. So if you want to just complete that bar... You could do it, and that's an extra opportunity that I normally don't actually give. Usually I'll just cut the line off at this point. Eric, have you heard about the whole Has Been Hotel Season 2 leak situation? No, I haven't. Time Shadow goes, just letting you know that starting next week I might be a little late to the stream since I'm a Celebrity is going to be coming out and I needs to watch it. Sarah says, I want you to review something you're interested in. You know what? I'll probably say Edward Scissorhands. We're coming close to Thanksgiving, aren't we, by the end of this month? Edward Scissorhands to me I think is a perfect crossover type of movie between Christmas and that, because of the snow and everything. So, and they were setting up Christmas lights at that point, so you know what? Second here. Because Edward Scissorhands really is a wonderful and beautiful movie. Alright then. There you go. If that's I've bought the goal down, so it's 130 instead of 150. If there you go, there's the next one. I was gonna plan on doing this later, but I guess we can do it now instead, if you guys want it early. So yeah, it has to be Streamlabs chats, like I said. If it's Streamlabs chats and we get to that goal, that will be something special, and I think, yeah, I would do that review next week. What color do you think the bar should be? When it fills up, what color do you think it should be? Well, Sarah, I did partly do this because you suggested it right now in the chat. You were saying, what's the next one going to be? And well, that's why I've decided to do it. Light blue, dark blue. What should the text color be? Because it's red right now. Yeah, you guys are right with the grey color. There we go. There. It's through Patreon, Sarah. I've got a chat. If you're a patron member, there is actually a chat, and on the second screen I can see it. But I don't know if I can bring it into the stream. That's usually where I remember Streamlabs is always better, but yeah. But there you go. The text matches the color of Edward's face. So yeah, if you guys fill this, and like I said, 130, it's not 150 anymore. If you do that, it's you've got a guaranteed Edward Scissorhands review in this coming week. Let's see. Studios destroying the legacy of popular male characters. Suicide Squad. Yeah. Khan says, what was it? Let's catch up on some comments because I was looking at that thing. I see it, Jess, but you just showed the title of one of my videos. I don't understand what you want me to get from that. I'm confused. Anyway, let's see, where am I? So cool. Where is it? How about a snowball? I don't think it's that fancy, buddy. Skies says Sarah is willing to work double shifts. I'm still waiting on Terrifier to come over. Hack me to bits and sell my parts to you, Eric, so my soul can watch that Power Rangers versus video. Well, yeah, like I said, you're gonna have to commission that. Just do it the original, the normal way. We'll just do that. Eric, who's your favorite actor? I don't know. They keep changing. It depends on who is like in the moment. Right now, I'll say Robert Pattinson. He's very interesting. He's always giving you a different performance with every movie he's in, so I'll say him right now. Have you seen him in the trailer for that new movie made by the director Bong Joon-ho, the director of Parasite? That new movie Robert Pattinson's in, he's got a very different voice to the voice that he has in that movie Good Times, and a very different voice to the voice he has in Batman. He's very good, he is. But Jess, I'm not going to be watching that video right now. I'm doing this live stream. So just give me the line. Tell me what the line is. You don't have to, have to make me watch a video while I'm live streaming. Interesting method. Will you do a watch along for Eid? Just saying, says Saeed. I don't know. We'll see. It depends. It depends on what my audience is, if you know what I mean. How would you rate the Lord of the Rings trilogy? If you mean in order, I would rank the... I'll say third movie, first movie, and second movie. Sarah says, do a reaction to your own video, and then next stream, react to your reaction video. Nah, I'm not the kind to do that. I won't be. Skies says, I'll try to commission it the normal way, Eric. Just have to go to the hospital and get my leg fixed. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's the new bar that has to be filled if you want that review. And yeah, yes, Sarah, what is it? People are just saying Eric. Well, two of you are just saying Eric. What is it? The G Gamer says Eric giving more discounts for movie reviews than Nintendo with their game with their games charge 60 full price for years. It just came up to my mind. I get what you're doing, Time Shadow. That's enough. Oh, cool. Severance Season 2 teaser coming out, Sarah. You're looking forward to it. Cool. What would your top 3 movies of the year be so far, says Cole? I don't know. I need to put everything in order and then look at a list of things. I usually do that towards the end of the year. I haven't done that quite yet now, so we'll have to wait and see. Eric, when does the stream end? I don't know. We'll give it 5 more minutes, and then I'll end the stream. And remember, everyone, I just want to say this in case you don't know, you have to donate through Streamlabs in order for that bar to fill blue. Once it fills up with blue, that'll be the only color in Edward's life. Basically, that's when I'll do the review. So yeah. I know the Dark Lord. Then Sarah said that she was going to... She just came in, so I thought I'd do some time then. Then she said she was going to donate, and I was afraid that if she donated, I would not have been there to answer her question, and you know how I take that seriously with you guys. So I thought I'll wait for that. And it didn't happen, and then I got in, just had fun chatting with you guys, as I always do. So, yeah. Five hours equals 5 days. Again, Skies, I said that would only happen if people keep donating right when I'm about to leave, like what used to happen. I was like, I'm about to leave now, and then they donate, and they keep me here, so I answer a question, then they do it again, then they do it again, then they do it again. That's the only way a stream will turn into a 5-day stream. Is it? Time Shadow, I've not seen it. That's why I always say Streamlabs or Super Chat it so I'll see it, because it's so easy to miss, then I can't... Scrolling through, I still don't see it. Khan says, someone make a donation for Eric to review all 3 Cars movies. Okay, this just wants you to say this. Alright. Han Solo in The Force Awakens, Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi, Joel in The Last of Us 2, Dewey in Scream 5, Indy in the original cut of Indy 5 for the reshoots. That's what he wants me to say. I'm almost confused. Is that like a line? That doesn't seem like a line to me. Lines are like let the battle commence and stuff. I didn't know that was seen as a line. Interesting. Will Skyzer goes 5 days later. Eric saying, "Okay, guys, I'm ending the stream." Okay, you know what? I am actually quite tired now, so I probably will end the stream now. Sarah says, I feel like I have so many things to say, but I'm just not saying them. What do you mean? Sarah says, I guess it's one of those types of days. I guess so. Yeah, Sarah, I've had those feelings before as well, so I know what you mean. Dark Lord says, Oswald better not shoot someone who isn't Vic, but of value to him. If you know you know why. Oh, I think I know who you're talking about. I'd be surprised if he does that. I don't think that's what he wants to do. I think that person he loves and he wants to keep. Next 5 weeks. Alright, it's time to end the stream. Okay, everyone, it is time to end the stream now. I am tired. Like I said, I've always said this. If you want to fill that bar, it doesn't just have to be done on this particular stream. I'll keep that bar here till the next stream. So if you want to fill it while I'm gone through Streamlabs, you can, and then the next week when we pick up and we continue the live stream, we can see how far that bar has gone. And if it has gone far or has just completed and reached the goal, then that's good, and we can just say, all right, let's I'll review it for you guys, and that'll be a done deal. So yeah, it was absolutely lovely talking to all of you. Sarah says, I just watched a banger of a movie and a bit of Eric's stream. I'm very happy. Thanks, Eric. You're very welcome. But yeah, it's been absolutely fantastic. Saeed, I have heard you. I won't be doing probably an Eid watch-along, but I will probably do watch-alongs around that time, and then you can join in, and it'll be, timing-wise, hopefully it'll be celebratory. But yeah, we'll see. But thank you very much, as always, guys, for watching. Like I said, be sure to become a YouTube member, because I am going to be doing live streams where I watch other movies with you guys, maybe other shows as well. So you're going to want to be, you know, a YouTube member in order to gain access to those, because what I did with The Nightmare Before Christmas, that's going to be only for members now going forward. So that was just like a freebie like I did, like just so you guys can see what it'll be like. And I've actually found a way to put the runtime on the screen now, so you'll actually know where we are in the movie whenever you join in. So thank you very much, as always, for watching, everyone. I really do appreciate it. I love all of you guys. You guys are so generous with your support towards keeping the channel going, and I have an absolutely so fortunate to have the best viewers on YouTube, all on my channel. So thank you guys very much for watching, as always, and I will catch all of you very, very soon. Take care.